This event will be the first of its kind.
These teams both have young prospects just waiting for an opportunity to prove themselves out there on that main stage.
How has he even done that?
Oh, one's finally having a look back, but it's their time.
And this is a very big risk for Tao here.
Let's go!
Swarming him previous side, but he takes the first, second, and of course he gets the third.
And it's all over.
They're looking for the kill, they don't realise he's on the bomb.
What a play from the team. How have they achieved that?
No, he sticks the bomb. How has he done this? This is ridiculous.
What have I just watched?
There's no way.
I don't think we'll ever see anything like this ever again.
Today's got a really nice event. We have a best of 3 CSGO matchup going on. We have obviously 2 great teams being performed here. We have the year 1s within the university as well as the year 2. So it will be the year 1s being represented as the Wishy Warriors and the year 2 being Zara's Angels. John, why don't you go ahead and talk to me a bit about the team, some of the names and the teams that you recognise.
Yeah, there's some really established players today, but a lot of them are probably facing their first LAN event. So it's going to be really interesting seeing how they deal with it. On Zara's Angels, you've got the likes of Byford, you've got the likes of Crank, really established CS players who have been around the scene for a long time. I'm really excited to see their performance today about how they can deliver on this stage. And then on the first year's team, we have the likes of Han. This could be a first event for him. He's an unsaid talent and he should be delivering at this stage. What do you think on the team today, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's a lot of people here that this will probably be their first ever LAN event they've ever been to, obviously around the ages of about 18, 19-ish. That sort of period where they haven't exactly got to the age where they're allowed to be at LAN yet. But, you know, it's a lot of pressure for them at the moment. You take their first ever LAN event, as I said, they might be thinking, oh, the lights, the cameras, the casters, everything around them might make them nervous. But how do you feel like if you was in this situation, first LAN event, how do you feel like this would go for yourself?
It's a difficult situation, so many faces on you, so many people watching the event. You've got to try and stay in the zone, try and stay to what you know. You've got to get in your zone, make sure that monitor is the only thing that you are seeing and the only comms that you are hearing are from your teammates. It's just about establishing yourself within the game, and that's just the most important factor about today. How would you cope in this situation, Aaron?
I'd say it's like a lot of this you have to focus on composure. Like you can't let anyone get to you. Like if you sort of take your focus out of the game for just 1 second, you sort of like lose your focus the next few rounds, which then could really impact your team's performance. Like if you say, for example, maybe Jakob on the year 1 team, if he takes his mind off for maybe like 1 or 2 minutes, that's a few rounds down for his team. It could really hurt them. But you know, we talk a lot about the players at the moment. Why don't we just go talk to Connie, who's currently got Zara on the floor. Connie, how do you feel about Zara? And let's see what your thoughts are on the match.
Well, thank you, I'm joined here on Zara today. Of course, coming into this, Zara, you've got a lot of experienced players on your team and a lot of skilled gamers, but I want to know your feelings going into this match and how confident you are and what you feel like is going to kind of happen.
I mean, as much as we've got like quite confident players on our team, we know our opposition are quite strong together, and I know they've been training a lot, so it'll be an interesting match, I think.
I think so. I mean, of course, Bliss is one of the more skilled players and definitely a multi-FPS talent at that. But talking about players like Chris, you know, of course, have been invested in CSGO for years. And how much of an asset do you think he's going to be to your team?
I think they'll be very strong on our team. Definitely probably more of our carries and kind of securing us the clutches and the rounds in general.
Love stuff. And can I get a prediction out of you as to what's going to happen today? What's the score count?
Say 2-1 to us.
Confident. I like it out of you.
Tight, but, you know.
Respectful. Well, anyway, now back to the analyst desk. I said Aaron and John, and let's keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, pretty confident if you interview John. You know, she's pretty confident that players such as Chris, as she mentioned, would really have the ability to take over the match. Also saying that they feel like there's going to be a 2-1 win. So how do you feel she felt? Did you feel like confident in the match, or was she a bit nervous in what she said?
I felt she was really confident there, going with the 2-1 for the second years there. really confident. She doesn't see a clean sweep, so she really respects the opposition and their talents that they can offer. She highlighted their Crank, a player that I highlighted earlier. What do you feel like he could offer with those one-on-ones, with his clutch situations? He's a big carry player for this second years.
I mean, yeah, as you said, obviously being a carry player, a lot of people are going to be looking up to him. So if he does, as you said, have the ability to win those one-on-ones, like he's really going to potentially hype up the team to consistently want to win more, keep going and keep pushing, and also try and hurt maybe the mentalities of the year ones. You know, if you lose consistent 1v1s, it is really going to hurt your mentality to a point where, you know, they have the massive, not even just an ego advantage, but also just the whole mentality advantage. But we've already heard from the year 2 teams. Let's go hear from Connie from the year 1. He has Jakob up there with him. Connie, why don't we give him a chat and see what happens?
Thank you, and I'm joined alongside Jakob in Keller over here now. Jakob, of course you're a Valorant player, and coming into this as a different title, but they're going to come the same feel, you know. I just want to ask you, how does it feel transitioning from a game like Valorant onto CSGO?
I mean, the basics are always the same, you know, it's an FPS, and there's really that much to say. It's an FPS, it's still a good game.
But of course, you're very experienced, very talented. I kind of also want to guess as well what you think of the other team, you know, with Zara, Bliss, Crank, you know. Again, these are guys that you've come to play against all year at the uni. But what do you think of them, you know, as competitors?
I mean, they definitely have some very talented players that we have to watch out for, but we are confident in our abilities as well.
How confident? What's your prediction?
From what I've seen in our practice games, I think there's going to be a straight 2-0.
You heard it right there. Aaron, back to you on the desk, and let's continue on.
Brilliant. Well, absolutely ice cold coming out from this man. Predicting a 2-0 with a clean sweep. That's some really big, bold predictions. But with a player like that, such an established Valorant player, making Radiant top 500, with the players he's got in his team, the FPS players, the years of experience, it is their first LAN event, most of them. But I really believe that they have a really good chance to get a result here. What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, I feel like they could get the result. I mean, obviously I don't want to show any bias towards any team, but the confidence and the swagger that Inkolo was showing compared to obviously the other team, like, it was a massive difference. We have a look at our head-to-head 2 featured players, obviously one of them being Jakob on the right, the player we did just talk about and the one on the interview, said he's feeling very confident. On the other side, Bliss, another player mentioned by Zara that was saying how he has that takeover ability in the game. You look at these 2 players though, who do you feel like is going to have the bigger advantage within this matchup?
I think they're very, very different players, with Inkolo having years of experience in FPS games, with him recently transitioning into Valorant. He hasn't probably played the game in a while, but saying that Bliss has been focusing on other things. They're both very, very good players, very different. Bliss primarily an aim player, has some of the crispest aim you can see in some of these FPS games, and it's really transported into other games as well. Can he transfer that back to CS is what we're going to see today, and can Inkolo take his recent experience of top 500 Valorant, can he take that into a CS environment? It's a different game. It's a very different game.
It's a very different game, but it is similar mechanics, you know, obviously being keyboard and mouse and everything like that. But we'll get onto that shortly in the gameplay. But for now, this has been your HyperX pre-show. I'm just going to throw you to a little bit of a break, but when we come back, we will be joined by 2 different casters and slowly get back into the action of our CSGO match. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome guys, hope we're all doing well. We should be going into the game very shortly. The first map obviously being Nuke. It was the year 1's map, or the year 2's map pick, sorry, so we will be seeing the year 1 starting on that CT side. So you've got to give them a little bit of benefit, but what are your initial thoughts, Charlie?
Yeah, I feel like Nuke's a kind of a surprise pick. I don't think we were really expecting this map to be picked by this team because it is one of the more tactical maps in the map, where the rotations can be a really challenging part of the map for the players to really know how to play. So they've got to all have enough experience to be able to fully you have to know the timings, the rotations, because that can be the real challenging part with the map, really. So yeah, it's an interesting pick, but it's always an exciting one to watch. I feel like also some great plays that we're going to see in it. So yeah, I can't wait for that map.
And obviously, you know, we're starting off with Nuke. The second map obviously will be Mirage, that was picked by the year ones, and then we'll, you know, the last map's Dust. And I feel like both Mirage and Dust, they're going to be maps that we're a little bit more common to see, that, you know, kind of known by all, played by all, never really going to be a team's map ban. But you know, I can't wait to see how this game does play out. But is there a player that, you know, you're going to be thinking of or looking at, you know, before going into this one?
Yeah, I feel like Bliss, they mentioned in the HyperX featured players, I feel like he can be such a dangerous player to come against. They mentioned about how his raw aim is so strong, so good. And I feel like if he can take control, if he can really warm into it early on, I feel like he could be a real dangerous player. But obviously, as the analyst mentioned, we're on LAN. This is a completely different environment. This isn't just like playing at your home. You're playing with a really difficult situation with all the pressure on you now. So these players have to be at their top level if they want to be able to do it. And if Bliss, I feel like if he can sort of manage that, I feel like, yeah, he can easily dominate this game.
Well, certainly, I think we're going to be able to see Bliss's gameplay, though, very shortly, as we are going to be going into it right now. And, you know, you mentioned Bliss, how, you know, he's got that mechanical ability. Similarly, we've got Jakob. He's, you know, just as good, just as strong. Yet the thing is about Jakob is he's currently the leader. I feel like we rarely see the leader be the one kind of to pop off. You know, we rarely see that kind of happen. So it's nice to see be in a position where the in-game leader can be kind of in that top position, but is also, he's got the fragging potential. So he's calling around his team, and he's still got the frags. And I feel like when you get in those positions where you have to lead, and you also have to kind of be the carry, sometimes it gets a bit difficult because you need to focus on both those different aspects. So maybe if we saw, you know, a position where someone else was leading, you know, someone like JGB, experienced in the server, and he's also you know, a natural born leader. I feel like he's a player that we could see lead and also have that fragging potential.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it there about the leaders. With some of these maps, Nuke especially going to be the first one, is going to be highly focused on the in-game leaders. And obviously we've got the two captains, Zara and Inkalo, but they're not going to both be the leaders, or at least Zara isn't. That is going to be Crank's job on that Zara's Angels side, so it's going to be really challenging for them. As yeah, they've got to make sure they can manage that in-game leading, because it's going to be a very tactical map that they've got to try to work around.
Yeah, 100%. Also, similarly, you know, Chris has got a lot of experience. He definitely knows what he's doing in the server, and it's nice to not have to be in that fragging position. You know, you can get yourself where you do just have to focus on the calling, and you allow players like Bliss, players like Luke. Similarly, with Zara and Luke. Obviously, two Lukes on the same team there, but hopefully that won't be a little bit confusing with us. But you know, they've all got the potential to step up when needed, and if there's going to be a time, it is here. We're on LAN. I feel like no mistakes can be made. You know. But it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I feel like something we haven't actually spoken about, and I don't feel like we actually have this information, because they are quite a mixed team. Everyone's got different abilities, but they're all very versatile in what they can use. We haven't spoken about the AWPers, and I feel like every player on the team has the ability to pick it up, but who's going to be the primary one? And Nuke, you can really dominate it, especially on the CT side of Nuke. You can play it ramp, you can play it outside. I mean, you can even go for main peaks, you can play from heaven as well, so very versatile on the CT side. If they can also find a way to work on the T side, it can be great for opening picks. And obviously Nuke being a heavily CT sided favoured map, if they are able to find a way to get those opening picks on the T side, that can give them that early lead, the early advantage that they can go and sort of string some rounds together. If they can have a good T side, they can probably take the game. But obviously Mirage, Dust, sort of stand-in AWP maps. Dust probably the only map you can really second AWP on the T side. So yeah, very AWP heavy there as well. So I feel like the maps we've got, the AWP's not going to be restricted at all.
Certainly not. Obviously, when you see stuff like, you know, Vertigo, potentially even Inferno, when you're on that T side, sometimes you just can't get it going because it's always just a wall of smokes. You're kind of locked off. And on Inferno, you're going to have to take those really aggressive peaks, and that's where it's a real 50-50. You miss the shot, you're dead. That's you done. You know, peeking towards brackets and also Banana. But you know, we're not having it in this one. You know, very AWP dominated map, but. You know, before we go into this one, we do have some technical issues going through, so I think we will just go to a bit of a tech pause, and hopefully it can all be fixed. But then we'll be right back into the action. We're back, it was just a small technical issue. We are going to be going straight back in. I do believe it was the captain for Zara's Angels. We haven't even spoken about the team names yet, Charlie. So we got Zara's Angels versus the Wishy Warriors. I'm loving the team now. Straight away, obviously the whole team, they understand that they are Zara's Angels. They're clear. There's a clear collective there.
Under the leadership.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, make sure they can fully gather together under that leadership of Zara, but even though they're not going to be in-game leading, which is the funny part, but
I feel like definitely the most vocal. I feel like we're going to hear a lot said from Zara, whether it be positive, negative, you never know, but I can't wait to see it happen. I think we will be going into the game very shortly, but obviously the Wishy Warriors starting on that CT side, I feel like they're going to have a slight advantage. They're going to be in a position where, starting on that CT side is so beneficial. You can get those early rounds, but I think similarly, if we can see a bit of an early start for Zara's Angels, get those T-sided rounds, they go 3-4 rounds up, and then they only need a couple more to have a good half, because we're expecting maybe a 10-5, maybe an 11-4 kind of in favour of the CT. But I think either way, I think the T's should be able to have this one under lock. Obviously, it is their map pick, so you kind of have to favour it. But yeah, we're going straight in.
Obviously, you did mention is CT sided, so second most statistically CT sided map in the pool, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they can take control of this.
Oh, they're just going fast vent.
Oh, yeah, it's just going to be down vent.
I love this. You can clearly see the calling though. Look at this from Chris. He's called this strat and it's worked out perfectly. It's all about whether they can find that opening pick though.
Oh, but look, there's so many players grouped behind the back silo. This could be really detrimental to them. None of the kills came through though, but Zara's Angels, they found a couple.
Yeah, Luke and Bliss both finding those individual picks. Makash will find two though. That is an absolutely ridiculous double. Just T finding another. It's all on Luke S&E, but there we have it. That's a lovely retake. That was a 5v5 close plant, but the Wishy Warriors played it calm, cool, and collected. And we just had MC Cash get that 3k. That is such an important triple.
You have to think about it as well. It wasn't even just that 5v5 retake. Zara's Angels got that two-man advantage initially. They were able to grab those two early kills, but either way, just the individual prowess of the Wishy Warriors allowed them to get over the line. But Kess, that 3k, he was a player we didn't really speak about in the pre-match, but he's a player who I feel like is another one similar to Bliss on the other side of things. Really talented aimer. Very dangerous in that aspect.
I don't know if you see Tyson. He's brought out the Scout. He's got 2k remaining. Could have brought out a FAMAS or potentially a little bit of a stronger weapon. But he's brought out the Scout. Still got that money for the potential AWP later. And maybe this is something to come. Maybe this is what we're going to be seeing, Tyson on that AWP. Because, I don't think we kind of knew who the main AWPer would be for the Wishy Warriors. I think we kind of assumed that it could be anyone because they definitely have the ability. But if we're looking at this now, Zara's Angels, they are posturing towards ramp. Is Zara just found a pick on Inklo with a Glock? That is ridiculous.
Yeah, you saw they were trying to opt towards ramp, but just the util alone halted it. And there's no actual defender on this A side. This bomb can go down for free. The closest rotate will be Heaven, but Makash just to make sure he doesn't overextend, and he does. He gets found by Crank, but look at the health of the Wishy Warriors, of Zara's Angels, sorry. They got nothing to play with.
Look at JGB. Just rotating in, but it's already won. Once again, Nizmic, Tao will get 3 in that round, I believe. And this is just looking so great for the Wishy Warriors. Although the bomb's been planted both rounds, they're doing well to get these retakes. They're playing it calm, they're playing it slow, and they're just working out so well in their favour.
I mean, either way, it's still a pretty good eco, because that was the full eco there from Zara's Angels. I think the most they invested really was that P250, and they still managed to find a bomb plant and a couple of kills, which is probably the best you can really hope from a full eco round. So, not too bad at all. They got the AWP out on Crank, so that's the thanks to the bomb plant.
Yeah, but obviously Tyson, this is a bit of a bonus round. We've got the 2 MP9s, we've got the Scout in play. Obviously Inklo using the M4A4, that's a weapon we rarely see. Tyson, though, is going to be tested here towards Garage. Oh, they have just dropped the smoke. Force him out. Oh, I love this. The Molotov back red. Crank finds the opening. Lovely shot there from Nizmic. Oh, he gets 2. Takes down Bliss and Zara. We're looking for more here, but run out of bullets.
He's still got a solid amount of cover to play with, and he's actually looking for more, and he still finds one. He could be on for the ace so quickly, but Crank finally shuts him down. Man advantage still in the favour of Wishy Warriors, though.
Oh, and Luke will get taken down. It's all on Crank in the 1v3. Is on for the ace, but he's going to have to find all 3 of them here. Has got the AWP in play, probably the best weapon to do it. Missed flashbang. Oh, Crank finds one. Going to be looking for more here. I don't think he realised the player's crossed. He seemingly is aware of the player black-blue, though.
She could be a real champion on this right side. Garage, but Crank, narrowly misses.
That was an MP9 at range.
I mean, not the most ideal gun for that situation, but still managed to make it work. That's a 3-0, Fred. That was the best buy. That was a bonus round as well for the Wishy Warriors. They had that scout, the MP9s. The buy was far from ideal, and yet they managed to make it work. But Zara's Angels, regardless of the fact they didn't get the bomb plant, they still are going to be fully invested in this, and you can really see the sort of the issues with the buy. Very limited util on some of the players, and a Mac 10 on Crank.
Yeah, I think something to look at as well. Zara, X-Tubsy, which is Luke, they both got money in the bank. They just opted to not buy util, potentially saving money into the next. You know, we wouldn't see this from a lot of teams, but, you know, kind of maybe preparing for failure. I don't really like that. I think that you should fully invest there. Tyson getting so aggressive outside. He's got all this control. He's going to force Zara's Angels to go towards ramp. Chris is going to be retaking this, though. He needs to be very careful. Has retrieved the AK. But this is going to be so tough here. Wishy Warriors, they've got so much control. And this double ramp setup, it's going to be perfect.
Yeah, it seems like the Wishy Warriors, a lot of the time, has actually tended to favour this double ramp setup. Clearly, they feel it could be a point of contact, maybe a bit of an issue for them, so they are doubling up. But if Zara's Angels do choose to go to ramp, you have to favour the Wishy Warriors. It can be such a dangerous hold.
And I love the setup on A. You know, just the AWP towards main, one on top of top heart. Bliss, he's certainly going to be worried about this peak here as he opens the door. Crank will find one. We'll take down Tyson here. Oh, he gets a second. That is really important kills, even on that 8 HP. Bliss has been dinked, though. Will fall back behind cover, but the HP isn't going to be perfect. Bliss does find Inkolo, though. And as MC Cash rotates up heaven, he finds the first.
Oh, it's a missed smoke as well. So McCash can still play around this. He can find the bomb planter. Oh. Crank misses the shot. The player's just got off the bomb. He does it all himself. How has he done this?
Charlie, he's 10-1. This is absolutely ridiculous. How has he been able to just constantly get these frags? Look at the smile on his face. You know he's going to be happy with that. I believe it was the 4K from him.
Your teammate wasn't even needed there. It was that 2v4, but he did it all himself.
And I feel like JGB, currently 0-1, he's clearly just hasn't really seen anything, is playing towards ramp, hasn't really been met with any contact. And that's going to be scary here for Zara's Angels. Because a player like Jacob, the second he gets unleashed, that's when problems really, you know, start to come up.
I mean, look at this from Wishy Warriors. 2 of their players have 0 kills, and yet they're still 4-0. X-Tubsy, he is one on the other side of things who does have 0 kills, but obviously they're losing. Wishy Warriors are 2-0 up, and 4-0 up, sorry, and they've got 2 players with 0 kills.
That's a great find there from Crank. We'll take down Tyson. They are just going to be sending it towards outside. No smokes there. But I think the one thing that the Wishy Warriors have done so well in this one is McCash, he's just had all this, like, just constantly, the mobility of this player. You know, finds a pick towards outside, rotates up heaven. We'll find 2 towards the site. You know, that retake there was played to perfection. And I feel like they really have nothing to say to try and combat him.
Yeah, this is a much more positive looking round though for Zara's Angels. They do have they don't have the B-bomb site yet, but they are down towards B. Man advantage as well. Not the best util to play with. Oh, and they could find McCash, but his mechanical aim really showing. Finally gets dropped by Crank.
That is a lovely trade. It will keep this. Oh, Crank finds another, takes down Nizmic. It is this 2v4. We've seen these 2v4s work out before. Will be Inkolo and JGB. Both players haven't found a pick yet, and if there was to be around for them to step up, it would be here. Oh, this Molotov. This could be detrimental. Finds the pick. JGB will get his first. Crank will get taken down by Inkolo. Oh my god, look at this is a 2v4, Charlie. And it's all on X-Tubby. It's all on Luke. It's against Inkolo here. The health very even. He's just progressing himself through the windows.
Oh, he's planted backside though. This could just be a full stick. X-Tubsy's got to make his way in, but is there time?
Oh, he gets it. That's the round for Zara's Angels. Luke stepping up when needed. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel they look more relieved there than happy with that one. That was quite to the cameras. He's loving it. Finally, Zara's Angels, they get around on the board, and they really needed that. Obviously, like we mentioned, it is the second most statistically CT-sided map in the pool, so it's not going to be a huge issue if Zara's Angels are quite slow to start, but they've got to really string some rounds together, and what a round it is to do so, just like up against these pistols.
They went 4-0, and they've just instantly put on this eco. They've just got the Deagles in play. This is going to be another perfect round, surely, for Zara's Angels. A player that really, you know, opened things up there, though, was Crank. You know, finding those picks towards outside, really made it so easy for them. Oh, and look at Bliss. They kind of went into the crunch, but McCash will be able to take him down. Oh, X-Tub is so confident. Inklo with the trade, though. It is this 2v3. AKs have been retrieved.
They both actually got armor as well. Obviously, it was that force. None of them prioritise the weaponry, so they've got AKs to play with here. Obviously, wait, Luke's only got a Glock. He's got no armor as well.
Potentially late to buy. Might have thought it was an eco. Didn't really have the money to buy. It's Crank and Zara that are going to be the main players in this one. Crank does find the first onto Inkolo. The bomb has been planted. Nearly halfway ticked as well, and no kit on Tyson. Oh, he finds the pick onto Crank. It's now Zara and Luke SNE, and you mentioned before, no armor or weapon in play there. Somehow Tyson hasn't hit a bullet though. We'll be bringing out the Deagle. No
That's
smoke.
his defuse kit. So this can be stuck. The high sense, he finds the kill, but Zara finally puts him down, and they do string the rounds together. That's what we mentioned. So crucial for them just to keep their money as strong as possible. And Witchy Warriors, they're actually forcing this.
You know, the two players that we wanted to we picked out at the start was Inkolo and Bliss. And both of them currently, you know, Inkolo 2 and 6, Bliss 3 and 6. They're really not having a great start. But straight away, you can see Chris, he's on 10 kills, Makash on 12. We do have these two individuals stepping up. And I feel like if we saw, you know, both Bliss and Inkolo in the dark, and we didn't have these players stepping up, I feel like this could be a very different game. Oh, and look at that. Crank finding that opening pick.
I was going to say the exact same thing, though, for Crank. On Zara's Angel side, he's the only player really putting up any numbers, and he's doing it to a consistent degree. He does finally get dropped. It's a 1-for-1 trade, so maybe this is where we see Zara's Angels fall flat. Their top performing player has been shut down.
Yeah, Chris, in fact, has more kills than his whole team combined. So it just goes to show he has just been so dominant. But we need to see players like Bliss, players like Luke stepping up. Oh, Bliss will find Makash. Lovely trade onto Luke SNE.
Still level though, and
oh, what a find! They're just gonna be peeking into him. Dry again. Nismic will find 2. It's all on X-Tubsy now in the 1v3.
He's had quite a tough game so far. Gets shut down from behind. Yeah, Justy in the back lines does find the kill and shuts down any sort of streak that Zara's Angels were looking to have.
And look at the confidence of these players. I feel like obviously we had that little bit of life from Zara's Angels, but it has been shut down now. The money for them isn't perfect. Bliss doesn't even have a weapon, might be bringing out the Deagle, but I really wonder what is going to happen. No, an AK has been dropped to him. I believe probably one just on the floor, but I feel like 2 rounds so far, 2 out of 7, not too bad, but they're really going to need to step it up because only 4 rounds overall is kind of what we're expecting. They need a little more, and that's the top performing player just getting taken down. Tyson, the opening pick, so important.
The issue is as well, Bliss and Crank were the only 2 who really had any util in this buy for Zara's Angels, and one of them just been shut down. Bliss, has to make sure he survives. Zara gets found, the flash is coming out, it's not good, they turn from it, but still, a couple of kills found very quickly there from Zara's Angels.
I don't actually know how JGB got taken down there. He decided to swing. He was in front of the flash, so he wouldn't have been blinded. And if he just played in that off-angle position, there's no way they're getting, there's no way they're checking him. It's now Inkolo, though, down on the B-bomb site. Bliss won't be covering this double door hit. It is planted safe, though. Oh, he gets off the bomb. That could be a real risk.
Just going to allow these CTs more time to rotate in. Bliss has so much work to do. Bliss is all that's left, and finally, he does get stopped.
But that's 6-2. This is looking so dominant here for the Wishy Warriors. And I think something to mention, we haven't really mentioned this before, but obviously this is the year 1s versus year 2s. This is a real grudge match between the two, and I feel like the victors are really going to have that, the bragging rights.
Yeah, not only that, obviously this is Zara's Angels map pick. This is the Wishy Warriors. They're the ones who are allowed to play on the CT side, so they're the ones who can really dictate the game, and right now they are looking very good. Obviously, Nismic almost got caught out there. The A side could be given up, and Crank with just a Mac 10. He opens things up, but he's looking for more.
This is so good. Even with that Mac 10, he's able to get 2. Now JGB rotating in. We'll just bring out the Molotov. Going to be molotting off blue box. That will be Luke SNE. He does get taken down, but Tyson and Makash rotating in. They find all 3. And all JGB did there, it was just perfect. He just delayed. He was a real distraction. All of the T's there were so focused on Heaven, and it allowed those rotating players to just clean up.
And the Molotov as well just made that kill on the blue box player so much easier, so much cleaner. Not much time wasted, not much damage taken, but Zara's Angels, they're buying again. No time to Rico, clearly.
I feel like the problem with this is, we saw Crank on the AWP early on. We haven't seen him on it since. And obviously, he did find 2 in that round. I think maybe he could have even got that 3rd. But we haven't seen him with this primary weapon yet, and that is just because we've seen Zara's Angels constantly forcing. They're trying to get themselves to the 3rd round. They're trying to keep themselves in this game. But in doing so, it puts players like Bliss without util Zara in a really tough position, because they could have brought a smoke potentially, but the lack of util, which means that in these post plants, they're going to really struggle. And they're using their last smoke. They've only got flashes that remain now.
JGB's going to be so tested. They almost line up. Bliss brought down so low, and he finds Bliss as well. And just the trap behind the molly. No trades can come through, but I say that as Luke does get one back, but they just retreat back into lobby.
And look at the bombers. They can retreat back into lobby, but Inkolo's waiting there. Zara will get the trade. It is all on Zara now in the 1v4. Does find the opening, but 9 HP. The bomb's out of her control. And I feel like this one, we kind of know where it's going. It's only a matter of time before Zara gets taken down.
Does have the AK, and obviously with that one bullet accuracy, one bullet headshot, can find the kill. Doesn't manage to. Justy puts her out of her misery, and the half's already been won. Wishy Warriors, they've got 8 on the board. How many more can they get?
I think the real dangerous thing here is, we've got 3 players on Wishy Warriors that they're all above 10 kills. Nizmic, Makash, Tyson, they're all doing really well in this one. And that was a great round from JGB as well. Dropping the Molotov, cutting off those, he really split the aggression and found those 2 openings. And it just allowed time for players like Inglo to rotate in towards lobby and find 2 of his own. So it is, that was a very good ramp hold, even when it was the players that aren't really stepping up in this one.
But finally, it feels like we haven't actually seen one. We've got an eco out for Zara's Angels. They've all got deagles, so got a bit to contest with, but already they've lost 2 players very quick. And this is the problem. They seem to be going outside as a pack mentality. I mean, their whole game plan is sort of this pack mentality. But the issue is, when they don't have much util to play with, outside is probably the worst place you can go on Nuke. You can sort of abuse ramp with having only a couple of flashbangs, but outside you really do need those smokes.
I think as well, what we've been seeing is constant kind of fluidity from the positioning of the Wishy Warriors. Just wherever they feel like the hit's going to be, they'll send 2-3 players there, and it's been working out for them very well. Obviously, we saw those a couple of double ramp setups. We had 3 players towards outside there. So even if Zara's Angels finds at least 1 pick and they try and burst off it, we've still got 2 players waiting there, just waiting for that aggression, and it's working out so well for them. It's X-Tubsy here in the 1v5. I feel like the main goal is just going to be kills, but he will just get taken down by Tyson. Tyson does find his 15th hit. Currently got that 3 KD. But look at the smiles on their faces. You can clearly see that they're very confident. They can be very happy going into this one. And I feel like it's only a matter of time before this one's closed out.
But that's 5 rounds in it. That's all 5 players surviving there. So obviously we already seen Wishy Warriors. They had that 4-0 lead initially, but after losing 1 round, their money was broken. So a round like that can be so huge for the economy. And I mean, look at it. JGB, he's almost got 8k. The rest of the team sitting around 5.
I think it's safe to say, though, for the side of Wishy Warriors, Makash playing so well in this one. And he's got the chance to find some kills here. Going to be bringing out the nade. That should do a lot of damage. Look at that. That's such a damaging grenade. Makash finds 2. There are 3 players behind this smoke, but once again, we see this delayed aggression. We always see like kind of a halt in the push. We see 2 players going through, and the other 3 just waiting. And it allows players like Makash to just get these frags. That's a 4K from him. I mentioned how well he's been playing in this game so far, and you can clearly see why.
We also mentioned that double ramp setup. It seems like as soon as Zara's Angels want to go there, it just gets shut down, and it's sort of the same story every time. It's 2 kills go the way of Wishy Warriors. They drop a bit of util, and the remaining 3, they just don't want to commit through. So it leaves them in a really tough spot where Wishy Warriors know exactly where they are. They know exactly what they're doing, and they can get that flank on in lobby.
I think the real problem is when they go for that ramp of aggression, we aren't seeing the flashbangs. We're not seeing the smokes being thrown from the T's. So it means that you can just have players like Makash just farm up those kills. And then even after finding 2, just taking the initiative to take the aggression because he knows that there's no more. There isn't going to be any more. Let's just kind of slow things down. The T's are just going to be falling back and worried about behind it. It allows Makash to just progress through.
Yeah, it really does seem like that. But in this one, a bit more slow. From Zara's Angels. They are keeping up this pack mentality, though. They are grouping together, and I mean, we've already seen in this game some limitations of it. And there's an auto sniper.
Yeah, I was just going to mention it. It's ridiculous. We've got the AWP and the auto sniper, the double scope.
Maybe a bit of Biet.
I can't wait to see if that kind of has any impact. But look at this. MC Cash, he's already up here on top of rafters. If he decides to go hard, I feel like that's a guaranteed kill, but Bliss leaning towards ramp here, clearing out all these angles. He can find this pick onto JGB, but no, he gets the headshot with the AWP. Going to be looking for one. Ooh, the bomb's dropped though.
Just lost. Yeah, that's going to be so tough.
They're just giving it up.
Yeah,
just leaving it to the CTs.
In fact, it is still a 2v3. Zara's done some solid work here.
Oh, but we'll get taken down. Makash does find Tubbsy as well in the confusion. And the Wishy Warriors, they find 11. And I feel like Zara's Angels, they need to find these final 2 rounds. I think it's safe to say it's over. 13-2 scoreline, it's too far gone.
Yeah, that's the thing with Nuke. It doesn't really matter how good you look on your CT side until the first half's over. Because all it takes is a couple of rounds at the end, and then the T's can get something to play with as soon as the half switch. So if Zara's Angels can find these last 2 rounds, they get 4 on the board, that's enough. They can still make that work, but it's so important that they need to find these 2, and right now there's no indication that that's going to happen.
It's not to say it is all over. Obviously, Zara's Angels, they can have a fairly strong CT side, But we're expecting players to step up. And obviously Chris, he's 13 and 14. You know, he's in the top fragging department. But he's got loads of deaths as well. The auto sniper from Nismic.
Oh, he's off for the ace.
Oh,
surely,
no.
give it to him.
Is he going to get it though? The bomb has been dropped. The final player is Luke S&E going towards outside. Nismic is 23 HP. Are we going to see our first ace here?
I don't know.
We
It
do see
looks like
flanking
he's
players
going
in
back
lobby.
towards lobby, and there's a lot of players on the CT side that want to hunt him down. He finds the first. That's a good pick, but he might not be aware that there's 2 more players in lobby nearby. The ace has been denied. Luke, he's doing a lot of work here. He's only 4 HP though, so not much health to play with. And finally, the AWP JGB puts him to rest, but 12-2.
Yeah, look at the money they've got to play with here. You know, we've got players like Crank, Bliss. They're really limited on funding. Obviously, you know, Tubbsy can drop it. Oh, I think is he bringing out the AWP himself? I love that. Might be dropping it over to Chris, but either way, an AWP on the T side, I feel like we've very rarely seen it, maybe once or twice at most. If there were a round to bring out the AWP, it certainly would be this one.
But look at this, Zara's Angels, Zara and XW have enough money for util. They've got nothing in the bank. And you kind of understand not buying the util if you're going to be entry in.
Oh, what a find from Luke.
Yeah, that's the only real counter to the auto, actually. You need that AWP to hit that quick shot. Any other weapon, it's going to be so difficult.
We have 4 autos and an AWP. I've only just realised that now. That was an auto that got taken down. The BM here.
Yeah, they're clearly brimming with confidence. And Ramp is, I mean, I don't even know a place where I'd want to execute.
I wouldn't feel safe anywhere.
Yeah, Ramp is a terrifying prospect. Just that sort of gauntlet with the auto holding you down.
Yeah, Bliss going to have to hit this instant 1D, or I feel like it's imminent before he's imminently going to get taken down.
Ooh, I don't think anyone's actually holding Squeaky now. Tyson is picking that up. If someone goes hard, Tyson's a free kill, but Tyson with the AWP, the only player with the AWP.
Oh, that's a perfect flash as well. I doubt he's aware of the player blue box, though. It's all on Tubbsy and Luke. The 2 Lukes here to bring things over the line. Luke S&E will find the first. A lot of util here to play with on Wishy Warriors, and JGB just progressing through. Oh, they're playing for the backside. Makash, you can find them both. Oh, the scoped accuracy there. While he's looking down, it really didn't work out for him. Still in this 1v1.
Yeah, just this final player. The bomb has gone down.
Oh, he's going for the knife. JGB messing around, and Luke S&E will find the third. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, as he gets denied there at the end. Obviously, he wanted to get that, wanted to be a bit cheeky, but
Yeah.
you can see just the confidence that is on Wishy Warriors. The fact that they're going for this, like, this is map 1. This is the final. This is all to play for on LAN, and yet they still went for that sort of play. So yeah, you have to respect the confidence. Obviously, they did give up that round though, so I wonder if that will have any ramifications in the second half.
Well, obviously, you're bringing out the 4 autos, you're bringing out the 5 scope weapons, obviously accompanied by Tyson's AWP. And you're having fun, you're going for knife kills, you're messing around. I feel like once you have a team with that confidence, once they're in a position where they just think, oh, you know what, we can give up this round, it doesn't really matter. I feel like this game's already over. They only need 4 more rounds to take this one, would take it home, and then they'll be on their map pick. But that will be seen very shortly after the break. We are back though. We are going to be going into into the second half of the first map. 12-3 half though for Wishy Warriors. They are looking really good. Obviously, you know, it is a very CT-sided map, but I don't think we were expecting that, and especially not from a team. But this was their map pick. You know, we were expecting Zara's Angels maybe to be in a position where they find 5-6 rounds, but only 3, and realistically, it was kind of given away to them. We could have seen a 13-2.
But it wasn't even just that. It was the fact that it was a 12-3, sorry, but in such dominant fashion. It was so one-sided felt like every round could have really went the way of Wishy Warriors, and pure domination from them. Clearly so confident on their CT side. They are on the more challenging side now, that T side. If they can get it working the same way their CT did, this game is all but done.
Yeah, and I think as well, obviously I spoke about the mobility, about the player of MC Cash. We saw how good he was at just constantly rotating around the sites, just getting himself in a great position to find those frags. And now he's on the T side. He's the one setting the pace. He's the one kind of showing where they're going to be going. And I can expect maybe finding a pick towards ramp, then going back towards lobby, and vice versa. But we're going straight into it now. Zara's Angels, they are on that CT side. And we see Luke at S&E bringing out the USP here.
Yeah, there's a couple of PT1000s in play, actually. They're very rare to see now. Obviously, they do have that one extra bullet, but I think most people do prioritise their USPS now. But they have to win this pistol round. You have to think, if Zara's Angels want to be able to have any chance in this game, they have to be able to win this one. Bliss, he's going to be challenged. He does find one. He's got options for more. Oh, he's run out of ammo. They all have, but Wishy Warriors, they come out on top.
Yeah, Wishy Warriors here on this T side, 4-3. They are just going to get this bomb down here. It's being planted. It is towards the B side. Crank needs to find this pick. Oh, does find MC Cash. Going to be looking for more here. Spamming away with the USP. We'll take down Nizmic as well. And once again, the CTs are looking great in this one. Oh, and Crank go for the knives out. He's got the blades. And there we have it. What a showing about UKCS. They're bringing out the blades.
Zara's not even to be seen. She doesn't even know where the B bomb site is, but either way, finally, Zara's Angels will perform in a pretty respectable way, but once again, it was Crank. It was the player that stepped up so many times on the T side, the player that probably gifted them all of their rounds on the T side, and he's doing it once again.
Are we going to see an AWP out for Crank? Oh my god, we are. Straight away, the second round, we're seeing the AWP. And I love
util,
that.
But it didn't really seem like Zara's Angels liked the util that much in the first half. A couple of MP9s accompanying it, so you've got those SMGs in play still, but such a strong buy. Ooh, a bit of a knife there. X-Tab-Z, probably not going to be that impressed, but there is that force buy from the Wishy Warriors, so they can strike back instantly.
Oh, and what a kill from Tyson there. He takes down the AWPer. That's 5.7k invested in the AWP and the armor, and he's had nothing to do in this round. Oh, look at this from Nizmic as well. They've taken so much control here. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is the difference between the two teams. When they were taken outside, Zara's Angels, they were just too passive, too timid. Wishy Warriors, no fear, no care. And Makash with that picked up AWP, he finds the third into the round.
He gets another. It's all on Bliss now in the 1v5. Going to be looking for players here. Does that initial damage onto Makash, but he's only 30 HP. Will be sending the flash. Oh, but they're playing anti. Bliss finds his third, but the trade will come through. JGB, such an important pick. And the Wishy Warriors, they find 13. 3 rounds away from taking this one now. And I feel like it's only a matter of time. It's going to be, it surely has to be a force fight from Zara's Angels. And if they aren't successful, this is where we can see Wishy Warriors find 15.
They haven't actually invested yet, so we could be seeing the double eco. Crank does buy, so it is a bit of a late buy. But yeah, they are going to be forcing. That's what you normally expect. You rarely do see the double eco in this meta. It doesn't really tend to fit it anymore. But yeah, this force buy is far from ideal. Just look at what the difference in force buys were. Wishy Warriors had AKs out. This is the best they've got is a Deagle. In fact, really an MP7.
But no armor. Luke, he's going to be in a really tough position here. He's hit this instant headshot. Has seen the initial player, but there's no way they're expecting him. Well, we'll just be bursting with the MP7 here. Finds the first. Still 4 more players remaining. Oh, he's just going to be swinging. Does a lot of damage. Crank will secure the kill as well. And this is working great. X-Subsy still here. Going to be swinging around, but that's the lack of armor for you. Luke S&E in the back lines, though. Has retrieved the AWP here. This could be dangerous. Zara will find that instant Deagle shot, and it's all on Nizmic here, but these players line up. Has spotted Luke S&E.
Still
oh,
fighting it. No fear. We mentioned it the round before. You would never tend to take that fight, but even with the Galil, still feeling confident. And that's 14 on the board. Only 2 rounds away. I feel like this game's almost over before it's even started.
Yeah, and I think eventually we're going to be getting to a position where we can talk about who the MVP is, who we feel has really stepped up. I think for Wishy Warriors is maybe one of two. I think both Makash and Nizmic both performed very well in this game. Obviously there's still a couple rounds remaining, but I feel like you've got to give it to Makash.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be one of these 2 players, and I feel like maybe these last 2 rounds, because it is quite close between the 2, that could be the difference. But in this one, it is just going to be that eco. Zara has actually gone for a hero M4. The rest of the team have ecoed.
Yeah, I feel like Zara's definitely going to need to be the hero in this round because they haven't really got many chances left. Got himself into a very deep position.
But they're bottom frag of the whole server. Zara does find one. Crank with just the USP. Luke finds another as well. It's a 2 versus 2 now. Zara, she's making the long flank by the looks of things. She's going to be going back to Heaven. Bliss, he's the only other player close by. Has retrieved an AK. Is going to get smoked off though.
The bomb's been planted. And the lack of a kit here is going to make this really tough. It's all on Zara. And she thinks it's the B site.
I think she thought it was the vent play. I think she thought they were going to go down to B. Got the call completely wrong though. It might even just be worth saving this M4 now. Obviously, 100%. It is still doable. But, I mean, at this stage in the game, you're so far behind, you may as well give it a bit of a crack.
I think as well, you've got to remember, this was the only investment was Zara's M4. So if she can save it across, you know, the rest of the team can buy. And it still damaged the economy, but they're going to be on 15. Wishy Warriors, they're going to find 15 here. They're on match point. They've got 11 chances to take it before going to overtime. And I think we know where this game's going.
I'll be impressed if we even get close to that 11. Zara could actually get dropped here. Inkello with the SG does find the kill just in the nick of time just before, but that's match point. That's game point. Map 1 could be over already.
Remember, this was Zara's Angels pick. You're expecting more than 4 rounds, surely.
Yeah, and it makes you question, why did they pick them at them? What was it they were feeling confident? Obviously, their T side was so poor, they didn't really get much of a chance on their CT, and maybe that's the issue. Maybe their CT side is what they favoured, but they just haven't really had many goes to really make it thrive.
Potentially they thought Nuke could be a bit of a punish pick, but clearly they're the ones being punished here. Is the clear ability on the server. It is definitely the way of Wishy Warriors.
This could be all it. Very little util. Only Crank's got much to play with on Zara's Angels side. Zara's forced forward, but this is a great angle, especially with that MP9. She finds the first. There is a second tucked in.
Oh, goes, oh, there's a Zeus kill! Nismic, Tao, he's brought it out. Bliss will be rotating up from the heavens. Crank towards main. It's all on JGB. Finds, oh, I was going to say find the first, but no, Bliss will take him down. They do have that 10-round deficit, but I think it's going to be tough. They're going to have to win a lot of these rounds very successfully because the TT economy is so tough to manage. And I think eventually there's going to be a time where the Wishy Warriors will close it out. But they want to end things here and now. They've brought out the force buy. Not many teams would go for all this, but they're just straight away full buying.
Yeah, the issue is when you're so far down, you've got to play literal perfect CS because all it takes is one gimmick round, one rush, and it could make it all fall apart. But Crank, he's going to be the one tested here. He's been the top performer on Zara's Angels side, and he finds absolutely nothing.
I don't know if you saw, he was still moving and shooting that. Did get taken down because of it. Luke SNE will be rotating towards ramp. It will be Bliss to go down towards the B site. Got himself in a very nice position here.
They might not check him up here. This Rafters position very early in the round still.
Look where the bomb is, Charlie. It's towards Garage. It's on Inklo. If he gets taken down here by X-Tubsy, you've got to imagine this round could be very different.
Yeah, that's a huge kill for him to find there. If he went down on Bliss, he finally shows himself. He strikes. It's a 3 versus 3, all level. And the health does actually favour Zara's Angels.
Obviously, we still have Nismic in, he's still alive and kicking in this round. Both JGB and Inklo as well. It is this 3v3, but I feel like it is going to be a tough round for Zara's Angels. I feel like this one could go down to the wire to a 1v1, and that's where economy will be a real problem for them.
Very slow now, though. It was a very fast, aggressive play from the T side, but they've slowed it down completely. They are going to be hitting A. The only defender is from Heaven, and that's X-Tubsy.
That's a 17 HP. The bomb will go down. All 3 players on the Wishy Warriors about half HP. The health is fairly even, as you mentioned before, but this round's all on Bliss. Gonna have to step up massively. Oh, look at that from X-Tubsy. We'll find Inkalo. JGB, though, will take down Luke SNE. Oh, X-Tubsy finds another. Even on this limited health, will get traded by JGB. And all he needs to do is find this final kill. Bliss will drop into the site.
There's no kit, Fred. Time is not with him. He does tap it. He baits out the swing, but he can't find the kill. And JGB does it. 16 rounds found, and map 1 goes the way of Wishy Warriors.
Yeah, that is absolutely ridiculous. Wishy Warriors, they're going to be ecstatic with that result. 16-5 there. And that's on Zara's Angels map pick. You've got to assume, we're expecting a lot more there from Zara's Angels. But something to mention, the Flux Gaming MVP, we have to give it to Makash. We 100% have to give it to him because certainly one of the best performing players here in the server and really helped out on that CT side finding those opening picks. The consistent mobility, just constantly getting themselves in those good positions, finding those important kills. And I feel like, it has to go to Makash.
Yeah, I mean, just even the very first round of the game, he started off so strong. It was that 5 versus 3 post plant, and he managed to find 3 kills so quickly. And that really, I felt like that set the tone of the game. that really allowed you to sort of feel the playing field, I suppose. But yeah, absolute domination from him. But in general, I felt like Zara's Angels, they couldn't get anything going. Crank was the only player who really stepped up, really had any rounds. And the rounds that he stepped up is the ones that Zara's Angels won. But obviously, you can't rely on an individual to carry you all the way through. And I felt like that was the thing that really punished him in that one.
Yeah, no, I think as well, straight away, at one point it was 10-1. Makash was 10-1. And it just goes to show when you've got someone on a 10 KD, not getting taken down, kind of just has run of the field, can just do whatever he wants, getting them in those deep positions. But, we still had other players on the side of Wishy Warriors. I remember one of the rounds vividly. We saw Tyson already deep, pretty much towards T-spawn within the first 20 seconds. And it just goes to show the initiative of these players. In those situations, they take so much control. They get themselves into those great positions, and they just dominate because of it. And I feel like that's something that the Zara's Angels really struggle to bounce back off.
But it's not even just that. You saw when we cut to the player cams, the confidence on the Wishy Warriors. We saw after clutches, after big rounds, just the feeling that they felt. They clearly were confident in the game, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if they do take it 2-0 now.
Well, not to say that we didn't have that from the side of Zara's Angels. I remember one of the rounds where Luke, he got the clutch and he, a little wave, a little kiss to the camera. Clearly had some confidence going for him, but I feel like it didn't progress. And I feel like that was the problem. We didn't see more from them. But once we see them step up, and I feel like a map like Mirage, as we mentioned in the start, played known by all, maybe they'll be feeling that confidence. They're not going to be playing that risky map of like Nuke. But luckily for us, we are going to be having an interview. It is going to be Connie interviewing the Flux Gaming MVP. It is MC Cash.
Why, thank you there, Fred. Now, I'm joined here alongside Han, MC Cash. Now, that performance you just put on there was quite simply immaculate. I couldn't find a single fault in your gameplay, just to say now. But I just want to ask how you feel after that map there, and after a convincing score like that, how much do you think you played a role in that big win?
I think I felt really confident that game, and I put trust in my teammates, and we just all held our ground. So it's also thanks to my teammates, just wasn't me alone. So yeah, I feel really good about that game, and hopefully we carry that momentum into the next game. Yeah.
It's a very, very flashy plays as well. I was watching you retake sites, get 4 pieces, 3 pieces. It really was beautiful to watch. But now we're going to throw to a very, very quick break, and we'll see you all shortly.
Of course, Doctor. He'll be right in. Such a nag, isn't he, Claire?
Oh, too right, Janet. If he wasn't so handsome, he'd defo be out the door. Ah, Mr. Taylor Cook, come in. Take a seat, would you? So how are you? I hear you've been struggling with some matchmaking games, is that correct?
Yeah, I just feel like I'm getting worse and worse. Like my spray, awful. I can barely get kills, and I'm just, every day just seems to be getting it's just awful.
So in my case file that I got here, it appears that you seem to be Gold Nova 1. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I've seen this quite a few times with a number of players. Have you considered Valorant? So how was your weekend, Janet?
Same old. Always at the club, need to make the money, you see.
Yeah. Head to brothers in prison again. What's he done this time?
Well,
Janet, I believe we have a delicate patient coming in. Make sure he's calm and ready, and then send him in.
what's happened to Train? Where's he gone?
You're off your medication again, aren't you, Darren?
What medication? Where's Train gone? Is it over there?
We've been over this time and time again. Ancient's not a bad map.
Ancient's so okay, gone. Where's Train gone?
Let's not dwell on the past. Ancient's in and Train's gone, and I'm sure Valve will bring it back one day. It'll be worth the wait, won't it? Promise. Let's get you off back for the war. Crazy bastard. Train's always been garbage. Janet, could you please send in the last patient? He's an elderly gentleman, so be patient with him.
Sending the last one in now. God, I hate him so much.
I heard that.
Eavesdropping now, is he?
Oh, come, Mr. Rogers, take a seat. So, what seems to be the problem?
All these youngins keep saying I'm too outdated to play CS. They say I haven't got the talent anymore and I'm withered away and there's nothing I can really do.
So is there a specific round you're struggling on?
The pistol round, you silly bugger.
So what specifically about the pistol round?
My gun's too bloody loud.
It's too loud.
They're too loud, I can't focus when I'm trying to kill people.
It's got a suppressor.
No, I'm still using the P2000.
That's the problem right there, you see.
What am I to do?
Firstly, I'm going to prescribe you with a USPS. This will really improve your game. And secondly, in your old age, you need something to take the pressure off. You can't be playing at these high-level games because you're just too old. I think maybe have a bit of fun with it. Play a bit of arms race or casual. I think that will really level up your game.
Okay, Doctor. Goodbye, baby. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Toodles.
Bye-bye. Bye.
The old get. You'll be dead soon.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chai Challengers Cup. We saw an amazing map 1 that did just happen, obviously being a 16-5 scoreline. Very massive difference, in the map. John, how did you feel that went for you?
What an exciting game there, guys. What an exciting game. The map really CC-sided, and we saw that. Really strong domination from the Wishy Warriors there. But I had a few picks in there. Crank, what performance from him. He just couldn't really manage to carry them on his back, and he'll be leaving there with some really big back problems. The Wishy Warriors had some great players in JJB and Tao also coming through. You know, the player of the match got given at the end there, but it was really hard to distinguish who could have walked away with that, because it was such a great team performance. What do you think of the team performance there, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, the whole team worked perfectly well. I mean, they were all very coordinated together. You know, majority of their pushes they were doing, you know, talking to each other very well. I think there was a lot of players on that team that did perform very well. But obviously, we do have to pick one player being an MVP. You know, it was very close between two players, being Tao and Han. But it did actually go to Han in the end. He played very well in that series. Obviously, you get a little card that does pop up. 26 kills, half of them being headshots. And a very good ADR in the match. John, when you look at those stats in the game, what do you feel about that?
I just see dominance. I just see pure dominance. 26 kills, a lot of them probably being headshot percentages, and it was just on that trigger the whole game. You had players like Crank, you had players like Bliss, who I felt really didn't go into the game too well there. They were just finding it so hard to stop him. And when he's got these players around him who are just so versatile and so adaptive, he just couldn't be stopped. So I think that's why we saw such a dominant performance in that game.
Yeah, very dominant from him indeed. But, you know, speaking about certain things that happened in the game earlier, some people obviously, there's some key highlights that went into the game. First few rounds, there's a few retakes that was happening from the Wishy Warriors that sort of helped them, you know, get the pistol round and get the further rounds forward. And they sort of had that steamrolling momentum up until around about round 4. They did lose a few rounds after that, but then it was just back to reality. They just kept taking that gap further and further and further, not allowing Zara's Angels to get anywhere close to the game. So, you know, when you look into that performance as well, is there any bigger moments you could look at and think, okay, that really impacted the way they have performed? Maybe the pistol rounds, or is there anything else in your mind?
Yeah, there was a few moments. I think it was the 4th or 5th round when X-Tubbs managed to get that clutch moment where he managed to win the round when the CT player was just sticking that bomb plant. He came around the corner quite abruptly, and he just managed to get him off the bomb at the last second. They then went on further to win the next round, which I felt if they kept that win streak going, that could have been a really big turning point within the contest. But unfortunately, I think they just got outclassed there. Another key point for me was, it's not really a key point, but one more to laugh at and to joke about there, is that Zara, I think, managed to stack up three knife kills. 3 knife kills, 3 knife stabbings on her own teammates there. That is probably quite a lot of damage done to her teammates before the round has even started there.
Yeah, I think it might be a case of loss of composure. I mean, it was 6-2, 7-2 when the knife started to come out on our own team. Maybe a bit of fun, maybe a bit of laugh, but it could also show a slight of weakness where they feel like, hey, look, we've already potentially lost the game, or we're already this far away on a heavily CT-sided map, as spoken earlier, that, like, you know, they just really just lost composure and just wanted to have a bit more of a laugh with things, which is, in the context, I think it's great, but everyone always wants to win things, and obviously, you know, Wishy Warriors over there doing very well for themselves. They all looked very calm and very composed. Even when we looked at the cameras going through, you know, look at our Flux Game and MVP Han, obviously Tao and other players like that doing very well. Even players like JGB didn't get the most amount of kills on their map, but that's not me to say he was playing bad. He was obviously the most consistent player you need on the team. He was reliable for the kills that he desperately needed to get, but it's hard to get a lot of kills when you have those players, as I said, such as Tao, such as Han, where they're just going to be able to just pick up all the crucial kills off the bat to a point where everyone's just then charging in the 5v2s, 5v1s later on.
Even those rounds where the key players weren't involved directly, the hands and the other the Inclos and the players like that, you had consistency players like JJB who were just picking up those 2 or 3 kills around where it really came in clutch.
Yeah, it's a great team up from them completely. I mean, they were able to just, as I said, work together as a team, crucially get those rounds that we need, and then just close it out in a fantastic start. I mean, 16-5, even then halfway point, 12-3 in a heavily CT-sided map is what you could expect, but then to come out of the blocks on the T side as well and then just close it out, it's dominant performance completely.
How do you see the next map lining up, Aaron? What sort of key fixtures and key battles can we expect to look at there?
I mean, yeah, you look at the new map, so obviously you've got the next map that is coming up. I mean, I believe it was Mirage. It was picked by the year, obviously by the year ones. So you're going to have a CT side start for the year twos. It's not the like slightly favourite side on that map. You can see maybe a 9-6, 9-7 start for them. That's if they do start off that strong. Whereas, I mean, you look at, as I said, you look at the players coming off a 16-5 win. They're all going to be wanting to get completely hyped, and you're going to have the players, as I said, like the MVP Honey, he's going to be wanting to come out the blocks hot and just keep his name in our mouths completely. Because I mean, if you're going to be dropping 26 kills in 21 rounds, if you can keep doing that in every other map, it's going to be incredible for them. But how do you see this match going, Joe?
It's obviously quite a CT-sided map. But I think with the right T-side coordination, we could really see some key points on the map being exploited. If mid gets taken early by the T-side, then it could really cause some issues for those CTs. They really need to establish a firm ground on that mid. It's all about the mid control in this map. And can we see some lurkers? Can we see some players get a few picks on the T side? It could really flip the fixture. So I don't think it's going to be completely CT side. I think this, especially this first half of Counter-Strike, it could be something really interesting and something really fascinating to watch.
Yeah, there's going to be some fascinating players. I'm looking forward to the AWP battles in down mid, but you know, we've spoken a bit about ourselves completely on how we feel this matchup has gone. Let's throw it down to someone else on the floor right now. Connie, currently stood in front of the camera on the floor. Connie, let's get your thoughts on the last map as well as the map that's coming up.
Why, thank you, Aaron. Yes, of course, last up was a 16-5 win, really convincing for the ones. But just more specific, I think players like Han and Tao showcased a lot of excellence across the map. And, you know, there was moments, of course, where they really showcased their skill, and there's times where they got, you know, ticked off, because although the year twos did lose that, there was still lots of moments in there where you could see the talent and the reads coming in and just finding the correct kills and taking rounds off them. But you know what? The more important question to ask is what's going to happen in the Mirage? I'm now going to throw it to my beautiful two over there, Fred and Charlie. Give it a second.
Cheers for that one, Connie. Yeah, it's nice to get a little bit of an insight from kind of the analysts and the host here. Obviously, they, you know, in the break, obviously Connie, you know, so I'm talking to a lot of the players, seeing what they're going to be doing in the next one. But this is make or break here for Zara's Angels. They don't really have another chance. Obviously, we've got the buffer from the year ones. If they do lose this map, we will go to the third, the Dust 2, and that's where pressure ensues. But you've got to imagine they're going to take this one as well. They look so dominant on Nuke, and now they're on their map pick.
Yeah, I mean, you can't imagine that momentum would just disappear. They've got to carry at least some of it through. But obviously, what John mentioned on the analyst desk about how it is slightly CT-sided, they will have that slight advantage. And obviously, mid control is going to be a very heavy contested point of the game, so that's going to be really interesting to see how both teams do deal with that. But obviously, we're going to be shaping up into this one right now, going straight into this pistol.
And I think if we can see Zara's Angels, you know, hit the ground running, start off quite nicely. Obviously, they need to win that pistol round. I feel like that was a little bit of a problem for them at the start. We saw Wishy Warriors on Nuke. They found those early rounds, and they kind of, it was a little bit of a snowball effect. They eventually kind of found their form, and there was just a lot of dominance. But that's something we need to see here for Zara's Angels.
Yeah, look at this though, JGB. He's faked the top mid smoke with the rest of the Wishy Warriors. They're lining up towards ramp. There is this 3-man A stack from Zara's Angels. They could heavily counter it. Zara in the close range angle does find one.
Makash with the trade, and Nismic will get taken down. Inkolo and Makash going to be fragging out here. JGB is lurking though towards middle, and look at Tubbsy. He is towards stairs, looking for that pick, but Inkolo will take him down. We do have a player towards jungle, one rotating from CT. Lucas and Nee will get found by Makash, and it's all on Bliss here towards jungle. Seemingly aware of this player, the Molotov will get dropped. He spotted one towards ramp as well. Oh, and Bliss struggling to find the kill. He's getting pressured from triple, and he's in that 1v3, but Makash will take him down. Was that a 3k there from Han?
Yeah, that was. Or at least it appeared to be. But such a huge performance from him as well. Inkolo had another big round as well. In general, just such a strong pistol. I love that they sort of threw in a little bit of a fake there with that top mid smoke, as if faking that mid pressure. But either way, Zara's Angels, they didn't rotate off A at all. They were firm in that belief that it was going to be the A hit, but just the gunfights didn't go their way.
Yeah, look at this straight off the bat. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. They're just going to be going towards A. I say that it is just Tyson towards ramp. Zara will be progressing, does have that P2000, the full flash there on Tyson, just farming up the cash here with the Mac 10. He's found 3 so far, going to be looking for more, bringing out the Glock, but doesn't have enough time. Zara will take him down, but it's a 4v2, and they're just on the flank. They've got up Con, Charlie.
Yeah, they know that they're both towards A, but rather than go to the FPV bomb site, they want to take everything away. They want to really assert that dominance, and they're doing it once again. 2-0. But Tyson there, 3 kills with that Mac 10. That's going to be huge for the economy. that's just an extra 1,800 to that kill reward there.
Yeah, and you know, what we've seen from Wishy Warriors is something we needed to see from Zara's Angels in the last map. Get that early T rounds. Just give yourself a little bit of breathing room, because you find the early rounds on the T side, it means you only need maybe 3-4 rounds in the remainder of the half when you are against those full buys, and then you're kind of set for success. But straight away, they've started off very nicely, and Zara's Angels, they're instantly on the back foot. They know that this is their last chance to bring themselves into this one, and it's all going to come from this first full buy.
Tubbsy could be overlooked, does get one, but the trade's instant.
Oh, Inkolo, he's found 3 so far. He's on for the ace. It's Bliss and Luke to try and hold them back, but it's a 2v4. Oh, I say that Tyson will take down Luke. It's all on Bliss now. No ace for Inkolo, but you can see Inkolo, he's fragging out 7-0 here, and I feel like potentially, you know, you mentioned it, on a map like Nuke, you need to really focus on in-game leading because it's so technical. There's so many rotations, so many timings that you need to focus on. Whereas on Mirage, a map that kind of everyone knows, he can just allow the team to default, and Inkolo can just get the kills himself. And currently 7-0, the top performing player in the whole server so far.
Obviously, Inkolo in the first map was sort of that middle fragger, that third star in the team. This one, he's really asserting his own dominance. He's looking so strong. Tyson went for a bit of a mid-peak there. It is a very strange buy here from Zara's Angels. 3 players chose the eco. Tubbsy and Zara have fully invested.
I think that they're already in a position where they don't want to let any more rounds go, but I think this is where it could be scary. Oh, Nismic has spotted him. Will take down Tubbsy. Going to be progressing out Palace here. Has spotted the player CT. There's also one very close ramp. Zara can do a lot of work here, but the flash is perfect. JGB will find his first. Nismic progressing out Palace as well. It's all on Bliss and Luke SNE once again in this 2v4. Bliss peeking towards CT. Does find Nismic. That's a great find looking for the AK, but Inkolo will take him down. All on Luke here. Has spotted the head. We're trying to find this pick. Oh, does a lot of damage. Will convert it. But it's a 1v2. 66 HP. And no real weapon here, but he finds another. Oh, JGB gets taken down. It's all on Tyson. We do have the nade in play for Luke, but no kit. It's only a matter of time before Wishy Warriors take this round.
Yeah, Luke looked aware of the positioning, but he seems like he's overlooked it now. He's looking back. Luke brought down so low. The flash isn't going to blind him. The nade going to do a solid amount of damage to Tyson. Just this full 10-second stick. He does get off. He gets faked out, and Tyson finds the kill. So close there. It was that we mentioned. It was a really awkward buy, and yet the pistol of Luke barely invested anything. Almost made it work.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. I can't, like, a lot of damage was done, but similarly, we saw players like Zara, players like Tubbsy, they did bring out the full buy. They have done so again. Obviously, we saw them in the last game not really utilising that much util, so they do have the M4s out. And straight away, Charlie, we're in round 5, and we got the double up on the CT side. The 2 star players on Zara's Angels in being Bliss and Crank. They brought out the big greens, and Bliss starting things off very nicely. Chris will get taken down. Tyson finding those 2 opening picks. JGB finding Tubbsy as well. It's all on Bliss and Luke SNE. I feel like a broken record here. That's 3 rounds in a row that they've been the last 2 remaining players.
I mean, just so quickly, we've had 20 seconds of the round, and already 3 members of the Zara Angels team has been shut down. They've been deleted from the server, and one of them was Crank. He was the real danger man in the first game, but isn't going to have any work to do in this one. Luke, again, he's continuing his form from the last round, but Bliss gets another.
It's all on Bliss,
just
though.
Bliss.
He'll be going towards stairs.
Does opt for the rifle over the AWP. A bit much more room for error, but Makesh shuts him down through the smoke, through the wall, straight in the head, and yeah, he's loving that one.
Yeah, I feel like it's the exact same players that we saw stepping up on Nuke for Wishy Warriors. You know, we've got players like Tyson, we've got Makesh, we've got Inkolo. They're all around that 6-7 kill mark. And it just goes to show how dominant this game's been. You know, it's 5-0 already. I feel like we really need to see a strong start from Zara's Angels if we wanted to see this to go all 3. But I think we know where this is going. Already, the T side's looking so dominant for them.
Yeah, and we mentioned this is the slightly weaker side. The CT side tend to, most of the time, get a bit more favour. It's a bit more CT-sided. You can sort of play a bit more how you want. Look at this from Nismic. He snuck his way out Palace, finds one. It does get shut down pretty quickly after. That was the only player towards A.
They are going to be progressing up connector though. A lot of smokes have been used towards middle, but they haven't taken much control. Luke SNE just playing behind that window smoke, expecting this push into window now. But has his eyes set on jungle, needs to be aware that a flank can't come through. And Inkolo just biding his time, waiting for the opportune moment. Works out.
Is not expecting that one. Crank is in jungle though, so he could find a trade if he's quick about it. But Bliss, he gets found instead. And Inkolo, he's not done on his tear. Crank All down low, 31 HP to play with, just the Deagle as well. In the meantime, it's just Zara, and she falls as well, 6-0.
And it's really unfortunate here. Obviously, we saw the risky pick. We saw the risky play there, choosing Nuke. It didn't work out for them. And now that they're on Mirage, this is obviously not their map pick, but I think similarly, we kind of expect all teams to know Mirage very well. But it's 6-0. They're on the T side, and it's just an absolute tear.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking really dominant from them at this point. Obviously, still only 6 rounds played. Anything can happen, but you have to imagine these are sort of the moments where you want to use your pauses. These are the moments where you want to just take a breather, reevaluate your strategy, and just try to rework your game plan. Because right now, whatever Zara's Angels are doing, it's not working out for them.
Yeah, and I think as well, that's something we didn't see in the whole of the last game. No pauses called. Frank in a very nice position here, but between a rock and a hard place, JGB swinging from under. Obviously, we do see Bliss on the AWP again. A fair bit of utility for this retake, but you've got to imagine it's going to get taken down here. Zara found through the smoke. Nismic finds one. Oh, Inkolo. That was against the AWP. He was being held. That's such clean crosshair placement now, and it's a 4v2. It's on X-Tubsy and Luke. It's the two Lukes here, and surely they can't do much.
He does find one, though, and the bomb is dropped in an awkward position. Luke gets another. He has to really be the hero of this round if there's any chance to make it work. The only thing he's got to go for him is the bomb drop. The molly, he's going to go in front of it. Tyson could get caught out by this.
It's 1v1. Obviously, Luke half HP, but Tyson, so cool, calm, and collected, will close it out. That got very scary there, though, for the T's. That was a 2v4, I believe.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and Luke, he was the one who got them all. Really difficult situation for him to be put in, but he almost made it work just against the AWPer. He couldn't convert.
Yeah, that's really important. Sometimes when you see the AWP in that situation, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a real risk because you're playing against an M4. You're playing against a weapon that has so much more mobility. But Tyson looking so good in this one. And look at the money that they've got to play with. Obviously, Nismic, Makash, they've not got much funding, but Tyson's on 14k. He'll drop to both of those players in the next one.
But to point out as well, every single round, Wishy Warriors have ended A. They clearly feel like it's a weak spot, even though there's so many players here. They're stacking it almost every round. They're still managing to find a way to win it. Finally, Zara's Angels have a man advantage.
Oh, Makash might get taken down here. Obviously, the health on both Bliss and Zara isn't perfect. Hubsy in a nice position here. Wishy Warriors progress up Connie. Just timing on the peak. He does find one. Going to be swung, though, from Makash. That's a lovely trade. Luke Essany will take him down. And once again, we've got Tyson in a clutch. This time, it's that one step harder. It is that 1v2. We're going to be seeing him going to the exact same place he performed the wonders before. The bomb is dropped on top of balcony. Oh, the quick peek there, missing that first shot. Does have the opportunity again, but Zara will take him down. Not rarely you see AWPers have an opportunity to miss 2 shots, and we saw Tyson there miss both of them, and I feel like if we saw him get that kill, we could have seen a very different round, but this could be the start for Zara's Angels.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really awkward position to actually be in. Obviously, the health would much rather have suited a rifle there. So I think if there was an option for Tyson to pick up an AK or an AWP, he probably would have favoured the AK. Zara would have been 1 bullet from death, but with the AWP, with the missed shot, connect. Tyson with the AK though, he's clearly had a read. Brings Zara down so low, but Bliss is covering.
I love that early window smoke. Trying to sell a little bit of a fake that B or mid will be the play, but once again, you mentioned Wishy Warriors, they feel comfortable towards the A site, but look at the positioning of Zara's Angels. We've got 4 players defending here, and it's only a matter of time before Wishy Warriors certainly need to change things up, because, we're seeing a heavy A stack from Zara's Angels. Eventually, these rounds aren't going to work out for them. Inkolo, Jakob, he would be the person that we're thinking is going to get this next kill. Has got the AWP in hand.
Oh, the player climbing up the ladder. Zara chooses against it. I feel like that's the smarter play.
But I like this from Wishy Warriors. They lose that opening pick and they decide to play passively. Allow a player like Jakob, allow Inkolo to find that opening pick. Has brought it back. Zara did get taken down, as you mentioned, progressing up the ladder. Bliss in a nice position here, but just dancing around this triple box. Needs to be aware of the aggression out ramp, but it seems as though Wishy Warriors are going to be going towards B.
I mean, Inkolo, he just needs to sell a bit of a fate. There's only one player here. It is Crank. Bliss does actually find Inkolo. How much can Crank do here?
If there was a player to lock down the site, though, the real anchor, it would be Crank. Luke Essany does find Nismic. It's all on JGB in this 1v4. Oh, he has been spotted, but he will get taken down. Luke Essany will find him. And there we go. He's got the peace sign up. He's got the... He's loving life.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Zara's Angels needed. Just to string a few rounds together, make sure their economy is strong. But obviously, the issue is Wishy Warriors, they've got so much money in the reserve that it's going to be very tough to break their economy.
Yeah, I think a couple rounds go the way of Zara's Angels. They can get their confidence, and I feel like once that does happen, they do have a real chance. But the problem is they're playing against a star-studded lineup here. Wishy Warriors, they've got players to step up when needed, and I feel like it's only a matter of time before they go back to their winning ways. Obviously, on Nuke, we saw Zara's Angels find those 2 rounds, and then it went back to domination from Wishy Warriors. We're going to need to see Zara's Angels string some more together.
Yeah, Zara does get the opening, does get traded eventually by Makash.
Oh, X-Tubsy here in a really important position. Hasn't been spotted. It's all about finding this peak. Oh, the crouch peak there does get taken down by JGB. That's a really important find. Incolo, though, progressing through window. Will find Bliss. That's a great find. It's a 2v4. Once again, Wishy Warriors, they're back to their winning ways, and it's all on Crank. Oh, could have found Tyson there, but the Deagle will prevail. And as mentioned, the Wishy Warriors are right back where we've seen them before.
Yeah, and I feel like this could just be where they try to continue their streak as much as possible. It looked good for them. Another A end, another finish on the A side. That's what they're looking for. Yeah, they clearly seem to love that bomb site. I mean, they clearly got the executes down, using those smokes, mollies, and flashes to perfection.
And it seems as though all it took is just one set to go towards B. Obviously, it wasn't successful, but it leaves that little bit of doubt in the Zara's Angels' minds of, oh, they can still go towards B. They can still change things up. Bliss starts things off very nicely. Will find 2, but Makash finds 2 of his own. Nismic now towards Pallet. Oh, Makash finds another. He's back to his ways that he had on Nuke. He's looking so dominant here. 13-5. Inclo is still the top performing player, but Crank in this 1v3. It is going to be tough. The util certainly favouring the Wishy Warriors. The bomb will go down though now.
Yeah, Crank, he's been quite slow this game compared to Nuke. This would be a real one to turn it around, but really fumbles that kill. That should have been his one.
And I think that, the players are just as surprised as he is, as we are as well, how he got that kill. Crank looks certain for him, but it seemed maybe just try to take his time with it, didn't want to mess up, but did just get taken down. It was really unfortunate, but they're 1 round away from finding 10 on the T side. Obviously the analysts asked Connie, kind of everyone understands that this is a slightly CT-sided map. We're expecting maybe a 9-6, maybe even an 8-7 in favour of that CT side, but it's just so dominant here for Wishy Warriors.
Oh, look at this though, it's just a straight up B rush. They want to really abuse Crank. He's only got a USP, does have armour though. I can't imagine with just a pistol he's going to do much. He just backs away into market. He just retreats, gives up the bomb site, and hope that this 5v5 retake can sort of do something that individual hold can't. He does get peppered down with the nades.
What we are seeing though is Inclo, he's taking that aggression. He's taking those early, he's the kind of entering in-game leader. We really like to see it. Just getting that aggression, obviously didn't find a pick, but he's still got some control, and that's just what they needed.
Yeah, look at the health of some of these Wishy Warriors players. 1 bullet from death can be all it takes. In fact, a similar story on Zara's Angel side. X-Tubsy got very advanced position, does get the kill on Makash.
He eventually spreads. Inclo will take him down, and Tyson, the final nail in the coffin. And once again, that's 10 rounds. That's double digits there for the Wishy Warriors. And I feel like we're slowly getting to the closing ends of this half. Yeah, we're just getting to the final stages of the half, but also the game. They've got an 8-round lead. They can find these final rounds. The money isn't perfect for Zara's Angels. Obviously, they have got the weaponry, but they've only got 1 real set of utility. They've only got 6 pieces among the 5 players. It's all on Crank.
Nismic's got an auto out again.
Oh no, not this again.
Clearly the BM straight back out. They wanted to make sure they could secure a good half, and then these autos are coming out. But Crank, he was the player that we saw so many times for Zara's Angels in the first game, that looked like he could have been the difference, but in this one it feels like it's Luke.
You mentioned the auto there, it didn't really have any impact. Instantly got taken down by Zara. Bliss will get the initial leg. This player is very low. X-Tubsy though, and Luke S&E putting up a lot of frags here. Working was so well for them. Look at this, Zara's Angels, they look like a completely different team. Where were they a couple rounds ago? If we had this earlier on, I feel like, this half could be level, but they just needed this earlier on. It's a little too far gone.
I mean, it seems like the players haven't dropped their heads at all. They're still feeling very confident, still very happy about it. So clearly they got some sort of magic on their T side, or maybe they wouldn't be as confident. But yeah, big round to win. All 5 players surviving as well, so their economy is going to be thriving after that one.
Well, you mentioned the auto out for Nismic. Look at his money. He's got an AK, but he's could potentially buy out some util. Obviously a smoke, molly, and a flash, but has decided against it. I thought you were going for a knife
there from Zara.
See, the thing is, we've seen this from Nismic before. He would have been able to see the gun barrel. We see so many Zeuses in play. Incolo, he's in a nice little position to get one, but it's all about whether we see Crank go on that fact-finding mission.
Yeah, Crank is very advanced, but will he push much more? There's no real need for him to take any more control. They do have this 2-man advantage, but this is an angle that can be often overlooked.
Look how far the rotations will be. If Crank somehow does get checked, does get taken down, the closest rotation will be Luke S&E, currently towards window. Bliss, obviously he's in window as well, but Crank, he now is so aware that this player's here, playing Trigger Discipline. Oh, I love this from Crank. He needs to pick a time to take one of them down. Oh, he's going for the all three. Oh, he finds the first. Looking for the second. He is successful. Just tucked in here, retrieves the AK. And what a round from Crank, the lone defender on B. And we mentioned how he hasn't really been performing well, but if there was a round to step up, it would be that one. He finds all three there.
Yeah, bides his time and finally strikes at the perfect moment. Takes them all down. Even denies that bomb plant to the money. On Wishy Warriors, yeah, we can see it here. Very limited. They are going to be fully invested into it. But if that bomb plant did come down, they potentially could have had a few more AKs.
Yeah, I think as well, 5 rounds, is it enough? Potentially not, but I feel like at least they've got these final ones. I feel like if we saw it become, a similar kind of half, a 12-3, I feel like it would be really tough for them. We do once again just have Crank defending here. Oh, it is going to be tough. Bringing out the util there, but we'll just get swung by Makash. Look how late the rotations are, Charlie. We've still got to play towards A.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be so difficult, especially with this making Palace. He could find a timing. Issue is he's only got the Glock. Oh, and he's kept Zara's attention towards A, but the rest of the team, they're trying to retake this B bomb site with this man disadvantage. Obviously, weaponry does favour Zara's Angels, but look at the time. It's already about 2/3 ticked.
Oh, and they find that opening pick. JGB takes down Tubbsy. Bliss with the 5-7 there, bringing out the AWP, finds one, but Inkolo with the trade. Makash does find Zara. It's all on Luke S&E, but he gets found by Makash. And once again, this is looking so good here for the Wishy Warriors. We saw a little bit of life from Zara's Angels once again at the end, but it's not enough. The final round going, obviously, the way of the Wishy Warriors. And 11-4. It's so dominant. Once again, a similar kind of thing there.
Yeah, I mean, at least they put up a bit more of a fight than they did on the first half of Nuke. But when you consider this map's a lot more balanced than Nuke is, it's not so one-sided. It still doesn't really leave much to hang on to. It does feel like it's going to be very tough. But something I really want to mention there, Crank, probably the most dangerous player that we pointed out before the game as well, alongside players like Bliss. He was playing that B anchor, a position that a lot of the time has no action. It's known to be you sort of play your worst players there, your weakest players, your in-game leaders, whatever. So yeah, really difficult situation for them to be in when they play probably their star player in a position where you don't really get many frags.
But I think when they did decide to go towards B, it works out very well. But I think we're going to have to see a very different half from them in that next half. They are going to be on the T side. We will see that very shortly after the break. Welcome back, guys. Hope we're all doing well. We should be going into that second half very shortly, but I feel like we've got to think 11-4 on the T side. That is ridiculous. That is such a dominant scoreline. I feel like you're never really going to expect that on any side, but the Wishy Warriors to just come out of the gate swinging. I feel like this one's already over. I feel like we have to imagine that this is going to go their way.
Yeah, I mean, the scoreline, you sort of imagine the map something like Ancient, not Mirage, but yeah, it's going to be really challenging. They have to win the pistol. They did it on Nuke on their second half, but this is where this is really do or die. They lose this one, they're out. They can't win. So yeah, it's crucial that they make something work here, or it is too late. And the T side, not the most ideal side to be on. This is where the in-game leaders are going to be really tested. And I don't know if they have what it takes, the way that they perform so far.
Well, I guess we'll get to see that as we are going to be going into the game right now. But you mentioned it, the in-game leader. Obviously, Crank didn't really have that much impact, was towards that B site. But as I mentioned before, when he was tested, he was up there. And I feel like if we can see a similar kind of thing for Crank on this T side now, we can see it work out perfectly for them. It can really work for them. Obviously, we do have Zara's Angels starting on that CT side.
We've got 2 players with dual, right? We've got 3 players with dual leads.
T side, sorry.
Look at this on the Wishy Warriors. What are they going to be able to do with these? I don't even know where they're playing with it, but it is just this straight up B rush.
Yeah, they're going very aggressive here. Crank getting a lot of control here. We'll find the opening pick. JGB will get taken down, but Tyson and Makash from the flanks, from behind, will be able to brute force their way in. Incolo with the Julies. Oh, what a find. Takes down Luke through the smoke, and it's just Zara that remains. Oh, and there's 4 players just dancing around, and she does get taken down. The Wishy Warriors, they start things off very nicely on their CT side here.
Yeah, and that's sort of the worst case scenario for Wishy Warriors. Sorry, for Zara's Angels, in fact, because they're now against this force by they have to fully invest into this, or this game will be too far gone. 4 rounds is all it takes, and then this series will be done.
Yeah, you know, they're already so dominant. But obviously we are once again having some technical issues, so we will just go to a short pause, and hopefully when that's all sorted, we will just kind of be going straight back into the action.
Going right there. One more to go.
Welcome back, guys. Hope we're all doing well. Hopefully we should be going into the game very shortly. I don't think it would be a LAN event without any tech issues, but they have all been averted. We are going to be going into the game very shortly. But to remind us, 12-4. It is absolute dominant here for Wishy Warriors. They are on that CT side, and I think it's only a matter of time. But Charlie, we've got the 5 scouts.
What is
5
this?
scouts.
On the CD side, this could be really tricky. 3 players have been tagged down. The nade doesn't manage to connect.
Oh, Frank's just farming kills here. Has been tagged eventually. Oh, look at the scout.
They've
Everyone's
all
been tagged.
One hit is basically playing with an AWP now with advanced movement.
And Nismic will find one. Gets the second. Oh, this is just a bloodbath. Is he going to decide to shoot through that wall?
Oh, I don't know if he knows they're there.
But that's the bomb. It's trapped.
Oh, so close.
Oh, it's all about timing here. Oh, Luke dancing around.
Oh, and Crank's on a flank as well. Nismic could win this. He misses the shot. Flank's coming in. He's got to reload. And Crank finds him with the scout. Crank, that was 4 kills from him. He got tagged quite early on as well. And still managed to find 2 kills. In fact, that was the ace.
Yeah?
Was
that the ace?
That was the ace from Crank. That was maybe a bit of a celebration wave there.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. And instantly, he's back up on the leaderboard, 13-13.
You're almost at the top. That's all it takes. Big performance from him.
Look at it. They've decided to buy again. We've got 3 pistols. We've got the Nova. We've got the XM. I feel like Wishy Warriors, they're having a little bit of fun here. They're taking it not very seriously, and you can clearly see why. Bliss does find the first, and is making a nice position here. He surely can only find one, though. Pushing out now. Oh, he misses the Zeus. Zara will take down Nismic, but look at Tyson here with the Nova. Finds his second. Going to be making so much money here, but will get taken down by X-Tubsy. It's all on JGB here in the 1v3. Both Bliss and Zara are very low HP. Tubsy, though, will be the main player to look for here. Oh, and JGB takes down Zara, gets the first.
Yeah, Bliss, he is the player in Palace. So if you can find Tubsy, Bliss is going to be in such an awkward position.
Ooh, got the 5-7 out here. Ooh, looking between these 2 players. But no, Tubsy will take him down, and Zara's Angels, they find these 2 rounds back-to-back. It's looking good for them. Slowly getting their economy going. We mentioned how it was looking dominant, but this could go the distance. It could go to all 3 maps here.
Yeah, I mean, 2 rounds is a good start, but they've got to continue this streak going. Wishy Warriors, they've invested a bit, but I don't think it will be the full investment. Yeah, it's not. They've still got money in the bank, so it is sort of this eco, but with a little bit to play with. They got that Nova on Tyson. He managed to get a couple last round, and Nismic also got the Deagle in play. The rest just have the USP, so maybe this is where you play those really sneaky angles, see if you can get 1 or 2 kills. Oh, in fact, I say just the USP. They've got a Zeus, in fact.
Something to mention, we saw Inklo go for that jump. He's not been met with any contact here. This is where they know that B's going to be the play. JGB might be able to find one here. That's the bomb carrier. Switches to the USP, but will get taken down by Bliss. Now Makash, he's still close by. We do obviously have Tyson with the Nova, but will get found by Bliss. It's all on Makash now. Been lying here the whole round. Bliss, he's found 3 so far. He is still on for the ace. Could we see back-to-back aces here?
But look at him sitting in this smoke.
The knife from Craig.
Knifed.
And there it is. We see the round go the way of Zara's Angels.
Yes, we're not even that far away now. Obviously, still 5 rounds. Still a lot in it, but still slowly making a comeback. This is the best we've seen from Zara's Angels in a long time, but it makes me think, looking at Tyson's buy, is that Zara's Angels playing well, or is that Wishy Warriors getting a bit complacent?
Well, I feel like in a couple rounds' time, if we can see Zara's Angels get to 9, I feel like eventually Wishy Warriors, they're going to be very humbled, and they're also just going to result into the full buy. Oh, Crank has spotted one. Just going to be peeking here. Oh, missed the shot, but we'll get tagged down to 36. Going to be re-peeking. Inkolo just tucks himself in, but the flash is perfect. We'll take down Crank. Looking for more. We'll get the second, and Inkolo definitely been the star player here for Wishy Warriors. Oh, and he's found 3 so far. It's just Zara that remains now in the 1v5. Makash does find 1, gets the second, and there it is. That was an Inkolo and Makash just dominance there.
Yeah, I mean, these 2 have definitely been the stars of this map. And I mean, just combining their, using the full force of their might and absolutely dismantle Zara's Angels.
You mentioned how this game was getting closer and closer. But the Wishing Warriors, they only needed 4 rounds. And, you know, after that success in that one, look what it's done to the money of Zara's Angels. They've really not got much in the bank, and it's only a matter of time. You know, we had to see every single round be played to perfection from Zara's Angels, and Crank, the top performing player for them, has just been taken down with ease. Bliss, in fact, has been playing very well so far, 19 to 16. In fact, it is him who is the top performer, but I don't think it really matters. You can be fragging out well, but they're not getting the rounds. They're not doing the important part.
Yeah, Bliss has stepped up in these sort of later portions of this game, but he's got to do it once again. Man advantage is in the way of Wishy Warriors, and the weaponry is completely different.
Ooh, what a shot
man
there.
advantage. There's 2 more players in Palace. This could catch up Inkolo.
It doesn't seem to be, though.
Especially with them retreating back. They're going to have to pick up that bomb.
It's just Zara and X-Tubsy here.
Yeah, Deagle and the AK. I think probably the 2 weakest players in this sort of series so far. What a time it would be for them to step up.
Well, we have had important rounds from both of these. Obviously, we saw that, you know, the clutch from Tubsy on Nuke, just swinging with many milliseconds remaining on the defuse. And if there were a round for him to step up, it would be this one. Currently 10 to 14, but there are 5 opponents that still remain. It's only a matter of time before he gets taken down. Nisbing there, kind of inspecting his weapon, wasn't ready for that swing.
Yeah, maybe slightly too focused on the skins that he's showing off, but still 5 versus 2, 28 seconds on the clock. Makash's position is going to make it even harder for these 2 players. The nade not going to really hit his mark, but X-Tubsy does get found in just Zara. All that remains, she's just juggling around, and Carlo can't hit the shot, but the no-scope finishes it.
Was that the ace from Inkolo?
It could have been, actually. Definitely the 4K, at least, I think.
I'm not too sure who found that opening pick, but if it was Inkolo, that was the ace. 27 and 13. Got that 2 KDs looking so dominant here. And they only need 2 more rounds. And look at the weapons that Zara's Angels they've got to fight with. We see the AK on Tubsy, 2 MAC-10s, and then the double Glock. It seems as though nearly every single round, we don't see a similar buy. We see kind of a lot of differences. We see the AK, the MAC-10s, the Glocks. There's no consistency here. Crank does start things off nicely, though. Finds JGB. That's a really important find. We still got these star players alive and kicking. Tyson, Inkolo, and Makash. And Makash to take up this early fight. He just missed these first initial shots. And Zara's got herself into market here already.
She just can't connect the spray, though. Out of ammo, finally does get shut down.
Oh, Crank will find Makash, but Inkolo, he's found 2 so far in this round, will get taken down. A lot of damage done to Tyson, but they will win the round. Both Tyson and Nismic closing it out.
13 HP combined, and yet they still managed to barely scrape over the line. And that was a round that was so crucial for Zara's Angels. Wishy Warriors, you have to imagine this is all but done now. The money isn't going to be ideal. We see a lot of players with barely any util, but they do have the rifles at least. But match point, series point, Fred.
And we can see a 30 bomb here. Inkolo 29 and 14, looking so dominant here. Certainly going to be the MVP of this game. Obviously, couldn't really step up much in the last because had to focus a lot on in-game leading. But now, when he's got the AWP in hand, he kind of just has the freedom to do what he likes, and he finds, well, he finds his demise. In fact, thought he might be able to get that kill, but Zara and Crank, they both find a kill apiece. Zara finds Makash as well. It is this 2v4, 5v2 in fact. And Tyson and JGB, they need to step up here.
JGB could get caught out. It's just Tyson with this Negev. Probably one of the worst weapons you could probably hope for in this situation, but just the beam does find Luke. No one else wants to contest. I say that as Crank with the AWP. He's getting hunted down, but finds the kill on Justy.
And we mentioned, obviously, it is 15 to 8, but they need 7 rounds in a row. They need to win every single one of them perfectly. Then they get themselves to overtime, and I feel like they don't have the firepower. They can't keep relying on these individuals to step up, because eventually, when they lose that opening pick, when a player like Inkolo does hit that first shot, that's when the round's all said and done. Obviously, no AWP for Inkolo in this one, though, just resorting to that A1S, but they certainly can do something in this round. Oh, look at that, Crank, getting that opening information. To convert the kill onto Tyson.
He actually hit Tyson again. He hit him through the wall. He's hit him twice with the AWP, and yet he's still alive.
Crank has spotted the player on top of the balcony, but no, still opting for the one. Has he not seen him? Somehow Crank isn't aware, but no, Zara will find Nismic. Bliss finds Inkolo, and once again, another 5v2. Oh, but Makash, he's found 2 so far, gets the 3rd. This is ridiculous. This was a 2v5, Charlie. Makash, very low HP, will get found by Crank, and now it's all on JGB, the B anchor player, seemingly kind of the rock of this team. If there were a round for him to step up, it would be this one. Does find the opening onto Bliss. It's just Crank, 17 HP.
He's got the bomb and he's running. He's just going straight to that B site. JGB isn't going to be aware of it yet. The smoke as well should allow Crank to cross. He's going to have an open B side, but surely this can't be the way that Wishy Warriors win it. This 5 versus 2. Makash stepping up, getting 3, and JGB in the 1 versus 2. He does find the first, but Crank, as we speak, punching in the digits, and the bomb will go down.
We do have a nade here on JGB, and Crank 17 HP. But as he peeks towards Market, Crank playing so aggressive here. I love this from him. He does find the frag. JGB getting taken down. But that was a 5v2. Although they weren't successful, think of the damage they dealt. They brought it to a 1v1. So they're going to be very happy with that. But once again, we see Zara's Angels stepping up. It was Chris in this round. But how often can they replicate it?
Yeah, that's going to be the real issue. They've just got to have heroics in every round by the seams of things. Crank had a huge one in that, or Zara in the previous, but it's going to be so challenging for these players because it's never an ideal situation to rely on just firepower alone. There's got to be some sort of tactic, but a lot of players hunting mid. Crank only finds one. This AWP can be retrieved, but the rest of the team on Zara's Angels is going to be probing out towards B.
So the problem is Jakob Inkolo, he hasn't really had that much impact in the last couple of rounds because that's been without the AWP. He has found the 30 bomb, sorry. But as the bomb gets planted, Jakob can slowly creep in. He misses the shot on the bomb planter there. That would have been a free kill. Zara planting out in the open. Inkolo, he's getting run boosted around the corner, I believe.
Oh, this is...
he misses the jump. I'm not too sure what's going on
they
here.
go for it again. Want to catch someone off.
Jumps across it. I'm not too sure for the reasoning for it, but Inkolo can't hit the shot. Zara finds them both. And this is looking brilliant for Zara's Angels here. They only need 5 more rounds. They were in such a heavy round deficit, but now they brought it back.
Yeah, you say 5 more rounds, still plenty of CS left to be played in this map, and could be even more if we do make it to overtime. But, I mean, how many more rounds do Wishy Warriors need of match point to be able to finally close this one out?
Yeah, they've been here for 8 rounds now. Or 8 rounds in total if it goes to that overtime. Crank on the AWP. We did see that double nade towards ramp, but didn't do any damage. Just posted up here. The smoke wall lands to deny his vision. But there's a slight gap. And if Crank can find a pick here, it'll be so important. Zara does open things up towards Palace. Finds
Zara's been
Nismic.
stepping up massively recently. Had a really rough game on Nuke. Had a rough start to this one, but it's finally finding their footing.
A missed shot there from Crank.
It always is a bit difficult when you see on the edge of the smoke, but you have to expect a player like Crank has to be hitting those.
But Charlie, look how deep JGB is. He's got himself in such a great position.
If he plays trigger discipline here, Fred,
this
could be everything.
He does. Bliss! Somehow finding that kill. He kind of surprised us both there. And he gets a second. Bliss is stepping up massively. 26 and 19.
Yeah, he's not ready to lose. He wants to bring this to dust.
Yeah, and, a conversation that we had with Bliss, in the little bit of a break, he mentioned that he needed to step up. He felt like he didn't have that impact in Nuke, and he's certainly stepping up here.
I mean, he was a player we pointed out in the pre-match interview of who could be a real dangerous threat, and it's if Bliss can get going, Zara's Angels have a real heavy hitter on their team.
Still here there for Wishy Warriors. Inkolo and Tyson, they both find a killer piece. Bliss will take down Inkolo, though. It's all on Tyson to take down both Tubbsy and Bliss. Just going to be playing slow. There's no time remaining. Doesn't have the kit on his back. Just going to be saving the AWP here. We'll find Luke. But it's all about whether he can save Bliss. Obviously 31 HP, but against the AWP, he knows that he's not going to be taking much damage. Well, it doesn't matter if it's a body shot or a headshot, but no. Tyson does actually find that kill. Bliss will get taken down, and the money for Zara's Angels isn't perfect. They've just given away the rifle and armor, and I can't wait to see what their buy is, because these rounds have been very close.
Yeah, I wonder if... I was going to say, I wonder if Tyson's going to keep it all. He was the one who favoured it on Nuke, but Inkolo, he's taking charge of that weapon on Mirage. Clearly, map dependent for these players. I mean, you can't really sort of blame that sort of decision. Inkolo having such a huge game, 31 kills.
Crank, we've seen him been able to find these opening picks time and time again. He's given that second opportunity, and he's not going to miss it this time. Once again, they do have that man advantage. Inkolo going to be looking for a pick back here. Hasn't been met with any contact. Obviously, we do have Crank playing very deep. I doubt Inkolo will be aware. I love the positioning here for JGB.
Couldn't find anything in the last one. This one, he gets the opening. Can find a second. Bullets just don't connect, and it's Bliss that shuts him down again.
Tyson here towards the B side, just spraying through the smoke, but no one crossing. Will be kept alive for the time being. It is this 3v4, but as Nismic rotates in, what a shot there. They find the opener. Oh, Inkolo finds Tubsy. It's a 3v2, and this could be it. We mentioned how important this is, but Crank finds the first. Is aware of the positions of these final two players. The Molotov will split the attack. Nismic finds Luke. It's all on Crank. Oh, and Tyson going for the jumping shot there.
He's just got the information as well. He's going for it again.
Oh, and there it is. That's it. That's the series. Wishy Warriors, they take it 16-11. It was an 11-4 half. We did see a lot of a comeback there for Zara's Angels, but it wasn't enough. And that is it. What a game. What a series.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing there because Zara's Angels did have that sort of life in them in the end. They did really start to come into their own, but it was just too little too late. And they looked very dangerous near there. It looked like there wasn't much of a response for the Wishy Warriors, but eventually, when you've got that big a lead, all it takes is one round, one individual performance, and then it is too late. And I mean, that's what we saw, but a great series overall.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned it perfectly. We had players like Bliss, players like Crank stepping up when needed. Zara as well, entering towards the A bomb site. I feel like we had that time and time again. All it took was that last round. It seemed as though a lot of the players felt a little short, and that was kind of it. We mentioned it was only a matter of time before they were going to fall, and you know they did a great job to bring themselves back, but it was too tall of an order. It was too long of a road for them to walk, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but speaking of players, is there anyone you think individually stepped up? I feel like someone we have to mention has to be Inkolo. I mean, not only was he the leader of the team, also the top fragger of that Mirage game looked so deadly there.
And I think the second you put a player like Inkolo on his, favoured map, you can clearly see looking very dominant there. 30+ kills there, also in-game leading. Another player that I feel like in the whole series we need to kind of think about is Makash. It just absolutely stepped up. Was the MVP or the Flux Gaming MVP of that first game. I think we'd have to give it to Inkolo, but it would be a real kind of tough one to who you're going to choose overall, because you do still have Inkolo in-game leading as well. So you've kind of got, although he didn't have the frags on Nuke, he had a lot of the pressure having to kind of keep the team going, and it clearly worked.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Makash was a player on Mirage that sort of went under the radar, was still right up there with frags, just behind Inkolo, very close in terms of the kill department, but because they were sort of the kills that were just, it was sort of a kill every round, a kill every couple of rounds, and I feel like that's what it was. It was just consistency from him, and that's why I feel like he flew a little under the radar, but yeah, I feel like for me, individually, I've got to give it to Makash. Just throughout the whole series, performed really well, lights out from him, so yeah, such a deadly player.
Well, last round kind of summed it up. Obviously, getting those kills on the retakes. I believe it was a 2v4 at one point, but an absolutely crazy game. I think a lot of the teams are going to be really happy with their performance. I do believe we're going into an interview there with the Flux Gaming MVP, and over to you, Connie.
Thank you, boys. Now I'm joined here alongside the Flux Gaming MVP, Jakob and Kello. Now, Jakob, an instant reaction right there. The boys, the synergy throughout the series has been evident. You guys just won 2-0 there, but from your own perspective, how do you feel, and how was the whole team's vibe throughout that whole match?
I mean, obviously it feels great, like all these preparations that we did paid off, and yeah, I mean, that's it, really.
Respectful. Now, coming into this event, you were the underdogs. We weren't expecting much out of you guys because the Year 2s had a better, talented lineup on paper. But I just want to know, what did you think going into this event, how you were going to do?
Obviously, when you go into an event, you want to think that you can win it, and that's the attitude we went in with, and yeah, I mean...
You got the dub?
Yeah, that's it.
I love it from you, Jakob. Well, thank you very much. Now, of course, throwing back to our casters in a second here. You have to think to yourself, though, how happy are you right now?
I'm just... It's a great feeling to win. Honestly, I promised Tal the win, and honestly, I mean, the whole team performed. You can't say anything about their performance. Everybody played great.
Absolutely not. Tal's a demon, and he showcased it today. But now let's throw it very nicely to a quick break, and we'll see you all soon.
we have finally arrived at the ancient tomb of Counter-Strike relics. Here we will uncover the many lost truths of Counter-Strike and its past. Frederick, my boy, take a look around, see what you can discover.
Yes, I shall, and I'll keep you privy of my findings.
Good, good. We have travelled 40 days and 40 nights through many, many uncharted territories to get here, and finally we've reached our destination. We've been given a clue many months ago about the location of the elusive Source 2. We believe that this tomb could give us the location, or the exact location, of where it can be found.
Look, Professor. What I found, I believe this was the defuse kit used by Olofmeister in 2014 against Dignitas. Think of the heritage, think of the worth.
My theory, young chap, wrong again. This is actually a Geiger counter. Seen in areas of high radiation, this one specifically, by the look and shape of it, was found on DE_train many millenniums ago. Not exactly what we're looking for, but a great find nonetheless. Frederick, come hither. What is it? Look at this. Very delicate. It's an ancient part of history. That weapon there is known as the butterfly knife, commonly used by AWPers and Gold Novas with a large ego but lack of skill. The wielders of this weapon are known to have this knife out more than their actual primary weapon, so very interesting part of history. Frederick! Be careful with that! You found anything, my boy?
Nothing but these stupid old rocks.
Oh, don't be so close-minded. There's treasures within every crevice of this place. Okay. Maybe I should take a look at it. Remember what happened last time? Just as I thought. These rocks here, they once paved the roads and walls of a beautiful castle known as Lord William's County Farmhouse. Nowadays, we refer to it as D_cobblestone. Many infamous plays happen on these castle grounds. Most notably, the infamous Carrigan blunder with the USP. Such memories. Could it be?
What is it?
This could be the key, my boy, to leading us to Source 2. After many months of travel, we could finally have found it. This could be everything we were looking for. It could be destiny. What are you doing, my boy? Put it back in the... What have you done? You've lost our only chance of finding Source 2, lost to memory. Just like Half-Life 3 was. We've got to get out of there.
But what about the treasure? What about the relics?
There's no time, my boy. Let's go.
Although the greatest CS treasure wasn't found, perhaps Source 2 was the friends we made along the way.
I'm here today to remember the fallen heroes and their legacy. To remember that they brought joy to our hearts and inspired us to prosper. Today we mourn the loss of another forgotten warrior. A Brazilian maestro who slipped into irrelevancy after joining FaZe Clan and could never recover after Emperor Nico's reign of terror. A lost legend, coldzera. Brother Charlie, have you got the tribute photo? Now we will all bow our heads in respect of this new member, coldzera, as he transcends into his new life into the pool of Tier 2 Counter-Strike legends. Forgotten but not lost. Praise Gaben!
Okay, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for our post-show presented to you by Flux Gaming. John, we've seen some absolutely incredible moments in those two matchups right there. Obviously, we had a 16-5 first half and a 16-11 second half. In that we'll start with the second match because we did speak about the first match earlier. Any highlights for you in that second match?
I just want to outline the performance on Zara's Angels. You know, started really tricky, really taking quite a while to get into the game. They found themselves losing quite heavily at half-time. I think it was 10-4, 10-3. going into half-time, that was. And the second half, they just came out flying. We saw key performances from Bliss. We saw the likes of Crank, they were stepping up. These are players. These are my picks. These are players I highlighted before. But unfortunately, CS is a team game.
Yeah, very big team game indeed. I mean, you said about earlier the start wasn't exactly strong from Zara's Angels. I believe they went 7-0 down off the start, but then they slowly started coming back in the second half. I think it was about 11-4, ended around about 16-11. They had that brief bit of hope. They managed to get a few rounds in a row, but even when it was on the dying moments of the game, like all which he needed was one round. It took him about 4 or 5 rounds to really close out that final round. But you know, there's a lot of key moments throughout that game. There was a few aces. I believe Crank had an ace at one point, and Incolo instantly followed that up straight away 2 rounds later. So it does just go to show how CS is a real flippy game. But any other moments from that game you might spot out?
Yeah, I think it was the moment when the play from Crank in it was in the B apartments. He let them all pass, and he waited for the first one to pass, waited for the second one. And it was kind of like a Shroud moment back in the old Cloud9 days. And that was such a vital round because that allowed his team to get back into the game. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, but it really gave his side a bit of confidence that allowed his team to get the extra few rounds.
Yeah, that confidence was heavily needed. I mean, after you took sort of a massive beating in that map 1, it was really needed to sort of come back and try and, you know, make that bounce back mentality, try and force the map free. Obviously, they weren't able to do that, but, you know, they gave up a hell of a fight. There were certain people in the first match which you may have looked at and thought they haven't performed that well. Maybe it's the first time nerves in the land, and it really did start to sort of settle in towards the end of the first game. But once they got comfy in that situation, they got comfy being in that scenario, they just managed to sort of, you know, be more comfortable, be more chill with it. I mean, you saw, I think it was Luke Byford or Tubbsy, who was also sat there at some points, just, you know, showing off towards the camera and everything like that. So, you know, it's been really interesting being here. It's been really fun talking to you, John, as well. I've really enjoyed being in this experience. But, you know, we're going to throw it off to Connie, who I believe has the entire team on the floor. Connie, how did you find the day went?
Well, not just the entire team, Aaron, but both teams here on the stage right now to collect their prizes. But the day went pretty well, I'd say. You know, I think everyone did their part and put off a great performance. Even in moments of chaos and hecticness, we really pulled through together and created something special. But I think there's 3 players to highlight here that really performed today, and that's going to be, of course, Incolo, and that's going to be Han, and that, of course, is going to be Cranked. Where's Cranked? Where's Cranked? Oh, he's there. 3 of which across both teams performed, put up numbers, made impactful plays, and, you know, just made it a special event. But I believe there's prizes to give out. I'm not really too sure. So my good friend Kean Taylor here is going to give out the prizes. So you got a hat. That's on the floor. You got a mat, and you've got a hat as well. And every player as well is going to go home with a free Flux Gaming energy tub. So no one goes home empty-handed. It really is going to be a winner takes all sort of thing. But if I was to interview anyone right now, I think Chris. Let me talk to you right now. We obviously lost 2-0. It's never nice. Never is nice to lose 2-0, especially to Tao and Yaka. But how did you feel like it went, and how are you playing yourself?
I felt in the first map we were definitely like quite lackluster. I felt like I put up some decent numbers, but still I think we, as a team, we weren't really all there. But definitely in the second map, especially in the second half, I think we started bringing it back. We had almost a good run. I felt like OT was sort of on the cards, but we fell short. I mean, we kind of knew coming into this we were going to struggle because we lost one of our best players before coming in. We had to bring in another player, but I still think we did pretty well for what we had.
Yeah, especially you and Luke were putting up numbers, to be fair. I mean, when I was watching your gameplay on the screen, you could just see the pace, you could see the mechanical ability, and yeah, you guys fried. You put in a good shift. But to go more onto the other team, I think one player that wasn't mentioned a lot but really could use it. Let's go to Tao.
Well,
what are you thinking? What are you feeling about the series?
I feel like I played pretty well in the first map. Although in the second map, that's where I kind of had an ups and downs, you can see, especially in the midway. But I think at the last round, I definitely picked up. You know, you can see some nice little one-tap.
Exactly. And we expect nothing less right now. But then again, though, of course, this event wouldn't even be possible without our sponsors. So thank you to HyperX and Flux Gaming for coming through and bringing in a massive clutch for us. And other than that, I think we can wrap it up here, gentlemen, ladies. What are you thinking? Thank you, and goodbye.
Bye.